You're ready. Big man on campus.
Ten seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
Good afternoon, hockey fans. We're broadcasting to you live this afternoon from the Houston Fieldhouse here on the campus of Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute in Troy, New York, as we get set to bring you this afternoon's ECAC hockey action between the visiting Golden Knights from Clarkson and the homestanding Engineers of RPI. My name is Tom Reel. I'm joined this afternoon by Perry Lascaris, and you're listening to all of this on your home for Engineers hockey, 91.5 FM, WRPI Troy. The Engineers come into tonight's contest with an overall record of 3-5-1. They are 1-1-1 in ECAC hockey play after falling last night to the St. Lawrence Saints. Meanwhile, the fourth-ranked Clarkson Golden Knights, well, they haven't lost yet this season in 12 games. They are 10-0-2. They've started off the ECAC schedule with a 1-0-2 record.
RPI falling yesterday to St. Lawrence by a 2-0 score. It was Kaylee Heidersbach who picked up the first goal of the game at 11:49 of the second period, with the lone assist going to Kennedy Marchment. The Saints added to their lead in the third period, a power play goal at 4:52. Brooke Webster's first of the season from Amanda Bouillet and Heidersbach. Sonia Shelley picked up the win to improve to 4-4. In net for the Saints, she had 16 saves. Lavisa Solander dropped to 2-4-1. She had 31 stops for RPI.
So it's a pretty daunting task facing down the Engineers so far. Today, they welcome, frankly, one of the best teams in the country, the recent national champions from Clarkson University, 2 seasons ago. Yep. And they look like they're ready to go on quite a tear this season as well. They've gotten through 12 games this year, and they have yet to lose. I mean, what can you say? I mean, even if you put together a simple schedule, anybody could lose in 12 games, and Clarkson's been able to run the table thus far. So we'll see if RPI can do something to disrupt that, but it's going to take quite a Herculean effort from.
Had a chance to sit down with RPI head coach John Burke before tonight's game. We'll have that for you now. Here with RPI head coach John Burke prior to tonight's game against the number 4 Clarkson Golden Knights. And coach, 2-0 loss for you guys against St. Lawrence. What did you guys see? What did you see good and bad from last night?
I like the chances we created. The one thing we weren't happy with how we handled the puck. I thought we kind of fought at times. We weren't as crisp and as clean as we would have liked, and we had way too many turnovers. At the offensive blue, and they created some of their chances there. So I thought it got better throughout the game, but wasn't happy with how we managed the puck early on in the first, and especially in the second there.
Looking ahead now to tonight, and Clarkson, obviously the undefeated. But you guys have played them tough in this building and in the last couple of years. So how do you see what do you see from them on tape?
Systematically they haven't changed. They're very disciplined in what they do and how they play. It's nothing out of the ordinary, but they're just very solid in all three phases of the game there. And one of the things that we've enabled us to play well against those guys is really use our team speed here. And that's something we're going to have to do. And also make sure we take care of the puck. And it's not just in the open ice, it's just along the boards, just making good decisions whether to protect it, and also having your teammates support it to be an option, whether it be on breakouts or in the offensive zone as well.
What was kind of the mentality of the team after last night? It was a hard fought game. It was a 1-0 game for a while, 0-0 game for a long while. What was it like in the locker room between periods at the end of the game there?
Well, after the first period, we knew we didn't have a real good ending that period, but it was, just remember a big picture of 0-0, and I thought we came out with some good energy in the second. I thought we played much better, but we still kept kind of turning the pucks over in some key situations, and so just some areas where we just had to be stronger on the puck and just be tougher to play against. And we had good momentum going in the third period there, and just like a little bit of crazy breakdown the power play. Hey, the kid shoots it off one of our defensemen's skates, and it was a tough bounce. But I thought we were defending it pretty well. And just before that, Shayna had a great chance on a shorthanded breakaway, and she makes a good play, and their kid just made a little bit better play. And I wish that would have been a little bit different outcome, but hey, give the kid credit.
Special teams wise, he gave up the power goal. That was the fluky second goal for them. Did you like what you guys did on the PK and the power play? Looked like it when you got established offensive possession, you were moving the puck a little bit, but a couple times it took a while to get into the zone.
Yeah, a couple times we won a face-off, and there was like a puck battle. We just kind of lost it, or once we did get it settled down, we made a couple passes that were rolling and just kind of was bouncing on us, and that happens. But I thought our kids did a nice job of just settling it down. And I think once we got possession in zone, we had some nice plays there, but we were just off like 1 or 2 seconds. Just off. That's all I can say. And I said, I think we'll respond real well. Like, so we went over some stuff on tape, and I think our kids will be ready to respond today.
You guys got into a little bit of a back and forth skating-wise with St. Lawrence, which is obviously playing to seemingly both your team's strengths. Is that something you guys are going to continue to try to do? There weren't a lot of stoppages early on in that game, really. Just kind of a good flow to the game. Is that where you guys want to be? Or
yeah, we want to have the good flow of the game, but we also want to make sure we're taking care of the puck. I think in last night's game, I think both teams were pretty sloppy with the puck, especially in that first period. There weren't made chances early on, but there's a lot of turnovers, but there weren't a lot of whistles either. But that's our strength to our team is our skating ability, and that's something we want to you want to push a pace, whether it's on the offensive side or the defensive side, to do that. And that's something how the games there has been very few whistles in the games this year. So I think it's just the pace of the players of the athletes at D1 level right now.
And it seemed like you guys were able to create some scoring chances off of forcing on the forecheck. Is that something you guys were happy about as a coaching staff? You created some chances just from below their goal line, just forcing bad plays by them.
Well, that's something we wanted to do. They were gapping out very well in the neutral zone, and hey, we wanted to get it deep on them and establish our our cycle, our offensive zone presence below the goal line, because we thought that was an area where we could attack them. And when we did get it down there, we created some pretty good chances there, and then a couple times we forced some stuff and give them credit for playing some good defense. But that's something we felt last night that we could get some good chances off of.
Are you happy with how your defensemen, your blue liners, are handling the puck? I know Hannah Bohonic seems like she's gotten more confidence in the last couple of years into this year. It's shown up a little bit on the stat sheet as well. But you have also some veterans, Godin and Banks, and them. Are you Are you happy with how they're controlling the puck and all? Or?
Most definitely. I think, two kids have really, of our upperclassmen have really stepped up their play this year is Bohanek and especially Brandy Banks. I mean, she's not really a big special teams player from the power play, but she's given us some really quality minutes. She's moving the puck well and playing and being tough to play against. So I think those are two kids that have really shown confidence, gotten extreme confidence this year, and also other players are playing really well as well. I mean, Renner coming back from injury, and it's going to also add some more puck moving and skating ability back on our back end.
And finally, back to Clarkson. Last year here it was a 2-1 game. It was a close game all the way. I think they scored the game winner early.
For today's women's hockey game between the Golden Knights of Clarkson and your RPI Engineers. Let's meet the starters for both teams. First, for the Golden Knights of Clarkson, a forward from Whitby, Ontario, number 25, freshman Ryan McGill. A forward from Stittsville, Ontario, number 15, sophomore Amanda Titus. A forward from Kitchener, Ontario, number 19, freshman Lauren Gable. A defenseman from Downers Grove, Illinois, number 14, sophomore Savannah Harmon. A forward from Keswick, Ontario, number 23, senior Eric Ambrose. In goal today for Clarkson from Owen Sound, Ontario, number 35, sophomore Shay Tiley. And the rest of the Golden Knights of Clarkson. The head coach in his 8th year is Matt DeRochers. The assistant coaches are Megan Duggan and Brittany Smith. Now, introducing the starters for your RPI Engineers. A forward from Belmead, New Jersey, number 10, senior Lauren Wash. A forward from Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, number 11, senior Alexa Brushaw. Forward from Heartland, Wisconsin, number 18, freshman McKenna Thomas. A defenseman from Minnetonka, Minnesota, number 17, junior Hannah Vihonik. A defenseman from Burlington, Ontario, number 24, senior Brandy Banks. Goal today for the Engineers from Sollentuna, Sweden, number 35, freshman Lovisa Sedelander. And the rest of the RPI Engineers. The head coach of the Engineers in his 13th season is John Burke. The assistant coaches are Christy Cicero and Jake Anderson. Ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please rise and remove your headwear for the playing of the national anthems of Canada and the United States by the RPI Pep Band.
Before we get started with the first period of today's game between RPI and Clarkson, we'd like to thank the Rensselaer Union. They provide the funding for WRPI and all the club-related activity of the Institute, including WRPI's coverage of RPI's hockey, football, and baseball. Just a reminder, WRPI is on the World Wide Web. Point your browser to WRPI.org. And you can pick up WRPI's broadcast 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So long as WRPI is broadcasting, we provide that broadcast on our internet feed. Once again, that is WRPI.org. Officials for tonight's contest: Michael DePasquale and Nate Turner are the referees. Justin DeSantis, John Kilmer are the linesmen.
Engineers, it's going to be important, Tom, for RPI to not fall behind early and maybe to get that first goal to put the pressure on the Golden Knights a little bit, because this Clarkson team, Coach Burke talked about it, if they get the upper hand, they can kind of assert themselves.
Exactly, and all you do have to do is look at the numbers in net for the Golden Knights. You get one past them, you might want to keep the puck because it's not going to happen very frequently. So for RPI to have any shot, obviously they're going to have to do well on defense against a high-powered offense. You're going to have to get probably more than one past Shea Tiley this afternoon. So a tough task at hand, but we'll see if they can do it, and they're going to have to set the pace early.
Underway here from the Houston Fieldhouse, RPI and the number 4 Clarkson Golden Knights. It's picked up by Aaron Ambrose, chipped into the RPI zone, and right back out to center by Gruschow. Tapped along by the freshman on the wing. That was McKenna Thomas, and in deep. Played along the far boards. That's Titus trying to get it out of there. Pinned up against the wall by Banks, who had pinched up from the right point area along the far side. Tie up in some skates. Moved out to center ice, and it's pinned against the boards now in front of the Clarkson bench. Engineers fire it right back into the near corner. Clarkson is coming off a 6-0 win last night at Union, as it's thrown through the neutral zone, intercepted by Clarkson, and shot in, going off a change, Savannah Harmon. She had the game-winning goal last year in this building in the third period to help Clarkson escape with a 2-1 win. Played up the near side wall, kept in by Genevieve Bannon. She takes a whack at it. Clearing attempt by Godin to the near side for Rooney. Rooney trying to dig away. It's taken away by Olivia Howe. Back to the point. Shot coming. It was blocked. It's loosened some equipment there. And it's cleared out of danger again by Godin to the near side wall. But that's where Bannon is waiting. She pins against the near side corner wall. Turning out of the corner is Howe. Poked off her stick. Clarkson keeping it alive in the offensive zone. They can wear you down as it's played up the boards again. This time by Kaylee Mercer, the team's leading point getter, 18 on the year. Mankey to the neutral ice. And shot right back into the RPI zone by Pausabone. Josan Pausabone, a freshman from Ontario. 6 different provinces are represented by this Clarkson team. We only have 2 Americans dressed in the game today. Puck gets by Josephine Hansen on the pass back to her. Engineers have to be careful here as it goes in deep. Centering pass. It deflects off Hansen's stick around to the far corner. Chop back out to center ice. Race for the puck. Grigsby's going to try and get there, but she'll be beaten on the play by Harmon, who gets to it there. Feeding it down the middle. Intercept at center ice by Wren. Whitney Wren, the sophomore from Troy, Michigan, will fire it in. Behind the net, Harmon. Up the far side. Schwalbe picks it off. And now Tomlinson battles for it, but loses that puck battle again to Harmon. Up the far boards, Clarkson has it. Neutral ice, they connect there. Bella Reeve to the RPI line, just dumps it in. It'll roll around to the corner far side. Whitney Wren plays it back behind the goal. Gets some help from Amanda Kimmerly. The puck just got thrown across the ice. Was the referee trying to get it out of danger there. Tapped out to center, Clarkson takes over. Carrying it right back into the RPI zone is Lauren Gable, freshman from Kirchner, Ontario. Or Kitchener. Into the far side is Gable again. Off the wall, McGill trying to move it in front. Backhander goes wide. Shot came from the far circle. Poke towards the point. Golden Knights will keep it in along the boards. It's Pausabone. Now a centering pass. Ambrose, a one-timer. Stick save made by Solander. Ambrose on the attack, looking to center. Puck popped in the air off the stick of Kimmerly. Engineers trying to clear it was Wash. Couldn't do so. Kept in at the line by Pausabone. Back to the far point now. Holding it there is Bannon. Centering pass just off the bench. was Howe. She couldn't control the pass. Now Howe gets it again at the side of the net. Shot save made. Wash picks it up. She'll try to skate with it out of the zone. She'll backhand it in the air near side. Nifty play there to get it to Tomlinson. Engineers able to relieve some pressure. Clarkson starts over in their own end. Long outlet pass. Not going to connect. Should be icing on the Golden Knights. And for some reason they wave it off. Engineers won that race down the ice. But we saw it last night as well. The referees not wanting to really blow any plays dead, especially in icing calls like that. This one comes in on goal, stopped by Solander. The shot came from center ice, more of a dump in that went astray. Back to the RPI line, kicked at by Grushow, or make it Bohonic rather. Now Grushow battles for it, back to Tremblay, turns back towards Banks. She has some pressure, played near side for Hannah Bohonic. Bohonic up the near boards, 4 assists already on the season in 9 games for Hannah Bohonic as Clarkson brings it right back into the attacking end. No score here, coming up on 5 minutes into the first period between RPI and the 4th-ranked Golden Knights. Hannah Bohonic near side off the wall, trying to get it ahead for Tremblay. Kept in momentarily by the Golden Knights, clearing effort by Thomas back out to center. Golden Knights carry it right back in, deflects off a skate over the shoulder of Solander. Looks like she thought about trying to glove it, but left it go into the far corner. Tie up in the near side now, work it off the boards. It's Mariani. Mariani lost the puck. Banks trying to clear. We got a penalty away from the puck. There was a Golden Knights player dumped away from the play, and we're going to get interference. There's Aaron Ambrose, the assistant captain and blue liner, who got knocked down in the slot. Hilwa not happy with the call. The official on the far side of the ice made the call, not the one in the zone.
It's going to be Allie Tremblay going off on the interference call for the Engineers. First 5 minutes of this game, all Clarkson. Actually scratched that. It's it is Lindsay Hilwog at the end of the day.
Don't question me.
26 versus 28 is pretty close. Anyway, the high-powered power play going to work. 9 for 38 this season, 23.7%. That's pretty solid.
That's pretty good. RPI will be on the kill. Engineers so far 80.8% killing off penalties this year. 21 for 26. Clarkson has it at the far point. Ambrose down low to the corner. Back to Ambrose at the point. Has Bannon with her, finds her there near side. Bannon to the near side circle. Patient is this Clarkson power play. Now Mercer moving in. Looking teammate at the goal line there. Did not connect. Back to the near point for Bannon. Handed off for Mercer. Kaylee Mercer. A shot save made by Solander. Loose in the slot. Engineers clear it out of the zone. There's going to be plays like that where the RPI is going to need to be strong on the puck, clearing it out of danger. This is a very physical Clarkson team. They move into the zone just onside. Ambrose plays it up the wall. Bohonic trying to knock it down. It'll go in deep for McCauley. Back to the half boards. Mercer up top for Ambrose at the near point. Gives it back to Mercer. They're about 10 feet apart. Now they trade places. Top of the near circle, Ambrose trying to work it down low. Pass was blocked away by Bohonic. Picked up far side of the zone. Tomlinson a clearing try, and they can't get it out. Mankey tried to help it out of the zone, but Golden Knights keep it there. Howe down low. Olivia Howe, the senior from Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, at the near side half boards, will be kept in at the point again by Harmon. Back to Harmon. Near side for McCauley. To the near corner now. They'll bank it off the backboards around to the far side. Engineers keeping Clarkson to the outside for the most part here. Now a drive, glove save, was headed wide. Solander made the stop on the try by Lauren Gable. We'll have a stoppage in play. 7 seconds to go on the Clarkson power play. 13:04 left into scoreless first.
Some good penalty killing here by the Engineers. They're doing a good job of matching Clarkson's intensity, which is to say that it's not that intense. Clarkson's power play is just essentially just cycling the puck and being patient, not moving with a lot of energy, and the Engineers are doing a good job of not being suckered into making mistakes.
Face-off one back behind the RPI goal, picked up by Brandy Banks, the senior from Burlington, Ontario. She's being hounded over there. Lost the puck. Grushow nearly lost it. Now she gets knocked down. Puck behind the goal, centering pass, and a shot off the post. Shot by Bella Reeve, rang off the left post. And now it's tapped into the RPI zone. Penalty is expired. Back to 5 aside. The Engineers kill it off. We're at 12.5 to go in the first. Kept in at the blue line by Clarkson's freshman Posabone. Now a shot deflected on its way through, went wide of the RPI goal. Wash trying to clear it out. Kept in by Fournier. That's Caitlin Fournier. Engineers turn him over. Move it out to center ice. Wash a little bit of space to move into the zone. Offensive end. She'll wind up and take a slapper. Shoulder save. Nearly picked out that top corner as Tiley went down. Shea Tiley with her first save of the afternoon. Puck back out to center. Engineers have it. Hansen trying to stick out of the way into the zone. Just got knocked down. The puck went free. Now it's bouncing towards RPI's end of the ice. Raspa will play it back near side for Jen Godin. Senior Godin ahead for Grigsby, the freshman. Lost it on the stick handle. Get some help as the Engineers shoot it in. That was Raspa. Another freshman will try and chase it down. Schwalbe does a nice job of tying up in the far corner. Some help from Grigsby off the wall into the skates of Schwalbe, who turns and fires, and a pad save is made by Tiley. Back come the Golden Knights the other way. Mercer into the zone. Poked free by Banks. Into the corner it goes. Howe is there. She's roughed up a bit. Genevieve Bannon trying to turn with it is Howe. She'll just backhand it into the far corner. Ambrose, who loves to jump into the attack, plays it down low. Now a centering pass in front, put just wide by Ambrose, who will now backtrack towards her standard point position. Far point now, Harmon. Near side, Ambrose. Wrist shot towards goal, deflected, and a save is made by Solander. Mercer spins off the check of Banks. A shot and a save. Rebound swept away by Solander. Still in trouble. A shot goes wide on the try by Harmon. Engineers have it behind their own goal. Near side, Grigsby trying to clear. Gets some help from Tomlinson, who has some speed out to the neutral zone. She gets knocked down, and we're going to get a penalty here. It's going to be a body checking, I believe, to go on Genevieve Bannon, junior from Quebec.
Well, Perry, once again, you're absolutely correct. The guilty party is Genevieve Bannon. So the Engineers going on to the power play for the first time this afternoon with 10:30 left to go in the first period. No score in this one. The RPI power play so far this season, just 9.5%, 4 for 42. The Clarkson penalty kill stifling, 94.3%. That's 33 for 35.
Here's a shot coming from Bohanek, kind of fluttered wide a goal, and it'll go back behind the net. This one will leave the ice surface. Did it take a deflection, or did it go straight off of Mankey? They will say outside the zone.
So when your penalty kill is as good as Clarkson's is, you can afford to take more chances. You can use that size that they have. Bannon, a 5'8" junior. I mean, she's large, but she's not nearly as large as some of the other players on this team. A couple of them coming in at 5'11". And you're good at killing power play, or you're killing off penalties. You can afford to be a little more physical.
Halfway through the first period, no score here between RPI and the fourth-ranked Golden Knights. They tie up in the near corner of the Clarkson, and there are three Engineers over there, including Katie Rooney, who comes away with a puck. Wash spins away from a check play to the near side again. Grushow, she'll stop at the hash marks. Double team comes. She gets tripped up. Fans in the crowd here today looking for another call. Wanting that 5-on-3 power play, not going to get it here as they continue to scrap along the half boards. Bohanek pinching in now as it kind of drifts towards the point. Backhanded out of the zone by Harmon, and Clarkson's going to be able to change the penalty killers. Still a minute 3 to go on the RPI power play. Their first of the game. Clarkson 0 for 1 so far on the man advantage. Through center, Grushow. Quick pass gets through Kimmerly and shot back the other way. RPI will have to reset in their own zone. Alexa Grushow on it. Team's leading point getter, 4 goals, 3 assists for 7 points in 9 games from Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. Knocked down at the neutral zone. Engineers restart there. It's poked away from Grushow again, and Kimmerly will have to go back to her own zone. Chipped along the boards. Schwalbe in the zone, right back out to center, and shot back into the RPI end by Kaylee Mercer, the junior from Exeter, Ontario. 18 points, I mentioned at the top point player for this Clarkson team. 11 goals, 7 assists in 12 games for Mercer. That too far for the intended target. Mankey will be icing on RPI. So nothing doing here on this RPI power play, which has 10 seconds left on it.
Yeah, the only thing RPI has been able to do is hold the zone after the initial face-off in the Clarkson zone after the penalty. And since then, ever since Clarkson got the puck out of the zone, the Engineers just haven't been able to move it down ice. The penalty killer is doing a good job of basically not allowing decent passes through the neutral zone, and it's giving RPI fits.
No score here. 8:35 to go first period. RPI and Clarkson. Another rush to go here before the penalty is over. Into the zone with some speed. Tomlinson made a move and nearly got free, but it was poked off her stick right before she got into the circle. That'll allow Clarkson to take over, move back out to center ice. Mankey trying to throw her body around a little bit there. Shot came from a very long distance that time from Corey Jacobson. Now here's Schwalbe all by herself in the offensive zone. Her shot was partially blocked to the corner. Schwalbe 2 goals on the air for the Anchorage, Alaska native. As it's chopped back out towards center. Good play by Bohanek to slow up the breakout. As Titus got hit by Raspa. Clarkson will move it out to center far side. Shooting it into the RPI zone. Fluttering puck will come down behind the cage. Banks trying to sweep it far side. Shot back to the near corner. Raspa back to help out. She'll play it up the wall. Ahead there for Rooney. Rooney up the boards. Make it Hilwa rather. Just chips it in. Behind the net, it's played there by Pozzabone. And now back out to center. Whitney Wren has it for the Engineers. DDD pass finds Brandy Banks. Ahead for Gruschow. Taps it into the Clarkson zone where it spins and is settled by Aaron Ambrose. Ambrose spinning away from Gruschow. Played up the far boards. Thought about a cross-ice pass, but electing to just shoot it in the end, is Ryan McGill, freshman out of Whitby, Ontario. Engineers restart now, near side. On the move is Wren. Gave it away, but gets some help from Wash. Wash off the near boards. That's broken up by Howe. Into the zone, right back out, glove down Wash. She'll play it up the near side boards again for Gruschow. Gruschow, as it's dug at and scooped back out to center by the Golden Knights. Engineers will have to reset and fire it back in. That's Wren. Stopped behind the cage by Shea Tiley, the sophomore from Owen Sound, Ontario. The goaltender so far has had to make 2 saves so far, 10 at the other end for Solander. To the RPI zone. Getting a piece of it was Hansen, but not enough to control. She'll go back behind her own net to play, finding Lauren Wash. Cross-ice feed, a dangerous one, nearly picked off. Engineers will have to track it down. It's Godin. Up the wall, Clarkson will keep it in over there. That's Mercer. Up the boards. Turning with it, Mariani. Mariani pinned against the wall by Godin. Now Thomas trying to fight it free. Still on it, Kelly Mariani. Down low they go. Harmon. The defenseman with it below the goal line, far corner, now to the circle, turning, looking to shoot, takes one that fired wide left. Picked up along the near boards by Mariani. The freshman from Mississauga, Ontario, good cross-ice speed, save made by Solander, and she covers up. She had to go post to post to make the save, as there was a Golden Knight open in the far circle. And now we're going to get a penalty here after the whistle. Looks like it's going to go on Clarkson.
Yeah, that was, I'm not sure who that was. Hansen maybe, that went ended up going down well after the whistle.
Yep.
And it's going to be a hit after the whistle against Clarkson. Kelly Mariani heading off, the freshman from Mississauga, Ontario. So RPI back to the power play, 0 for 1 so far this evening.
This is kind of a mistake that RPI has to try and take advantage of, Tom.
Exactly. I mean, there's playing physical, which is fine. The penalty on Bannon, not really a bad penalty to take if you're trying to play physical, but a hit after the whistle like that's just an unforced error, and RPI would be keen to pick up on this one.
Bohanek off the offensive zone face-off win, finds Gruschow. Far side, they find Hansen. To the circle now, Lauren Wash. She'll backtrack a bit to the far point. Holds it back, takes a slapper, is blocked. Picked up Bohanek, and her shot was blocked on its way through. Had a little bit of a lane there. Now it takes a funny hop off the boards far side that benefits the Engineers. Bouncing puck kicked at Gruschow down low. Walking in a shot by Schwalbe. Save made, and the rebound is covered up by Tiley.
That's the opportunity RPI needs to be able to try and pounce on, and a good move there by Schwalbe to get free. It was kind of a mini 2-on-1 once the puck squirted below the face-off dots. But Tiley up to the task, made the save, pounced on it. But the Engineers do still have the puck in the zone, which is crucial.
Roll it around to the near corner. Clarkson trying to clear it out. McCauley gets by Bohanek and back to the neutral zone where it's spun around by Hansen. Josephine Hansen from Copenhagen, Denmark. There's a bad cross-ice feed to McCauley on the break, now shorthanded. Hansen trying to catch up with her. McCauley to the backhand, and she can't get the shot away. She was being pressured just enough by Hansen to not allow her to get a try on goal. Good recovery there, and another ill-advised pass. There's a play to the RPI slot. Engineers have it covered. Schwalbe now into the offensive zone near side. Engineers changing behind her. Centering pass was behind the intended target, Gruschow. Picked up far point, Kimberly. Thrown near side, some room for Godin. Cross-ice feed, and maybe one too many passes as it's picked off and cleared, but not out. It comes out of the zone right by Kimberly. Spoke too soon on the clearing play by the Golden Knights. Right back into the zone. Godin, a shot. She put it wide. Behind the goal now to the near side. Mankey helped back towards the point. Golden has it there. Far side feed in a one-timer coming. Takes a deflection and goes wide again. Behind the goal now, they have it pinned up. 4:25 to go in the first period. 28 seconds left in the power play for RPI. Good clearing play that time. McCauley, who's in desperate need of a change, gets it here along with their fellow penalty killers. Engineers have it in their own zone. Mankey, good find near side in the stride of Tomlinson. Now she's tied up and lost the puck. Cleared out to center, kicked at by Mankey. Cross-ice feed, nothing on it. It'll be picked up by Olivia Howe. Drop pass for a shot that goes wide. It was Mercer looking to use her teammate as a screen on a shorthanded try out of the box now. We're back to 5 aside. Engineers 0 for 2 on the power play as they fire it in. Behind the goal, Corey Johnson Jr. from Warren, Ontario. Makes a move, nearly gave it away. The pass was in the air and it eluded the RPI forechecker. Into the zone come the Golden Knights. Drop pass there. Moving in Mercer. Feeding it. That was blocked by Banks. A shot or a pass didn't matter. Trickles to the near corner. Back on it, Mercer. Down low. Deflected. They score. A great deflection into the net. I believe it was Mercer in the end who gets the tip in. It's a goal, her 12th of the year. And it's 1-0 Golden Knights.
Yeah, Clarkson executing really well there. Basically just doing fundamentals right. That's all you really need. They've got the pressure and you just keep hacking away at it. Some of their shots haven't been really that true, and Lovisa Solander has mostly been on the top of her game. In fact, I would say even with that goal, not really one you can pin on the RPI netminder. Clarkson just hacking away. They finally get one with 30 left to play in the first period, and they take a 1-0 lead.
1-0 to the visitors from Potsdam. The shot back to center by the Engineers off the neutral zone faceoff. And going in their zone briefly, and it's firing in again by the Golden Knights. Lauren Gable doing the job. Shot around near side. Wash trying to knock it down with anything she can. Can't clear the zone. Ambrose have it. Walking in. Wrist shot coming. That one hits a body in front. As it trickles to the near side. Back behind the goal now. McGill on the backhand. Playing it far side for Harmon at the point. Near point for Ambrose. Ambrose back to Harmon. Harmon skating into the circle. Walking in. A centering pass. Fanned on in a first try. Second try went wide. Could have come off a skate. And now RPI can break if they want to look here. They can find Wash. Up ahead for too far in the end. Ambrose breaks it up. Ambrose shoots it off the boards to a teammate far side. And now up the wall they go to center. Godin stole it away for a second, but then gave it right back to Gable, who shoots it into the RPI end. 2:30 to go in the first period. Clarkson on the board here. As it's, I believe, Mercer with the tally. Looks like she had a nice little redirection on a shot from Olivia Howe. Engineers move into the offensive zone. All tied up was Mankey. Couldn't get her stick on the ice, and now Clarkson moves it back out to center. Banks backhands it right back to the Clarkson blue line, but it's fed back along from McCauley, far side. 3-on-2, they move in. A shot saved by Solander on the try by Mariani. Winkel, listed as the 13th forward on our line charts today. Hands it off for McCauley in the corner. Watched by Hansen. She'll cycle it again for Winkel. Winkel on the boards, being played there by Schwalbe. Now it's pinned against the far wall. Banks has one of the Golden Knights over there. Comes off the boards on the backhand, off the post. Second post the Golden Knights have hit. Good backhand shot by McCauley. Just didn't go for her. Now kicked out to center by Schwalbe. Swatted back the other way. And Clarkson wants a change. McCauley, unhappy with the luck that she had there, or lack of it, just slaps the puck in deep and goes off on a change. Off the near side boards. Knocked down by Bannon. Turned into the zone by Howe. Over to Mercer. A shot coming. Saved by Solander. Rebound cleared but not out. Back to the point it goes. And it skips under the stick of Emma Keenan, the freshman from Calgary, Alberta. Back out to center. Mercer. Intercepted by Grigsby. She'll move it to center with about a minute to go in the period. Chip to the far corner. First one to it. Tomlinson. Taken over on the play by Harmon. And Clarkson will move it out near side. Into the zone, Bannon. Defended nicely by Hilwa. It's behind the RPI goal. A little bit of space to work it free. Centering pass. Handcuffed the intended target. That was Mercer. Out to center it goes. Golden Knights have it there. Pausabone. Intercepted by the Engineers at center. That was Bohonic, but she gave it right away. 30 seconds to go in the period. Still 1-0 Clarkson here. Scoring late on in this first period. Around to the far side. Thomas trying to get it out. Pinched against the boards nicely. Using her body there was Titus. Titus continues to battle in the far corner. 15 seconds to go in the first. Kicking it up the wall was Thomas. Kept in again by Clarkson. Driving it to the slot. A shot tipped up in the air. Glove down in the corner by Kimmerly. She'll have it pinned there with 3 to go in the period. Clarkson trying to move it off the boards, and they won't be able to in time. That does it for the first period. 1-0 Clarkson leading. They outshot the Engineers 16-3 in the opening frame.
Scoring on the Clarkson goal at 16:30 of the first period, an even strength goal by Kaylee Mercer, her 12th of the season in only 13 games. Has Clarkson up 1-0. The assists going to Olivia Howe and Amanda Titus. And that was the only goal of the first period, so Clarkson heads out into the first intermission with a 1-0 lead. Shots on goal in the first period, really an indication of how this went. Only 3 shots for the Engineers, 16 for the Golden Knights. I think coming into this game, RPI had to know that they were going to be spending the majority of the time in their own end. Defense is really key, and we saw 2 good opportunities for the Engineers at even strength during the first period. Shots on goal by Lauren Wash and Taylor Schwalbe, really kind of in a counterattack mode. They didn't move the puck slowly. It was more of all deliberate speed, moving back towards the zone, which they hadn't been in for most of the first period. And they weren't content to just sit there and set up and try to do something. They were taking shots. And if RPI is going to score in this game, they're going to need to do it on the counterattack with numbers before Clarkson's able to get set up on defense. It's a good enough defense for Clarkson to be holding the puck as long as they are anyway. The longer you've got possession, the less of an opportunity the other team has to score. So with the 1-0 lead already, Clarkson really in a dominant position, especially the way they've been controlling the puck. The next goal is crucial. The Engineers are going to need to get it, or else this is going to be a long night. But there is a little bit of hope. 2 games ago, Clarkson took a 3-0 lead against Dartmouth. Dartmouth was able to come back and grab a 3-3 draw. That was last weekend. We'll see if RPI is up to that task. Dartmouth may be one of the better teams in the league this year. If RPI is going to claim that mantle, they're going to have to do something a little similar.
At least the doubt is there in the minds if the Engineers are able to tie it up. Again, you're only down a goal after 1. Not the worst case scenario for RPI. This is a team that in years past they've given up some big numbers to this Clarkson team. I remember, I think maybe 3 or 4 years ago, they gave up 10 goals to the Golden Knights up in Potsdam. So not a bad showing for RPI. Obviously, you'd like the shot total to be higher. But at the end of the day, they're kind of where they want to be. You'd like to be 0-0, obviously. But they're skating with Clarkson, and that's what you'd like. They're playing solid enough defense.
Their defense is playing well enough to have kept a 0 on the scoreboard for Clarkson. Sometimes, the other team is just going to execute perfectly, and that's what Clarkson did to score their first goal. It wasn't anything that RPI did wrong. It was more of Clarkson just controlling the puck and doing what they needed to do to put it in the net. We'll take a step aside here. We'll be back with the first intermission shortly. Your score after 1 period of play is Clarkson 1 and RPI 0. You're listening to live coverage of Engineers Hockey at 91.5 FM, WRPI Troy. going to freshman Mears Moore. That even strength goal made it 1-0. RPI was able to hold that into the first intermission. And early in the second period, it was Jake Wood scoring on a breakaway. His third goal of the season was assisted by Riley Bourbonnais and Parker Reno. So an all-junior connection for RPI's second goal. That was at 5:07 of the second period. Made it 2-0 RPI at even strength. Just a few minutes later at 8:38, Brett Gervais scored to cut the RPI lead in half. The assist going to Jordan Boucher and Nick Pirog. Made it 2-1. Engineers got out of the second period with that lead. They did have to kill a power play early in the, I should say right at the beginning of the third period, as Riley Bourbonnais took a roughing penalty at the 20-minute mark of the second period. Engineers got that one killed off and then had a power play opportunity 5 minutes into the period after an interference call against Kelly Summers. And then the controversy came to play at 7:05 of the third period. Clarkson's Jeff Dinalo collided shorthanded with RPI netminder Jason Kasdorf. Dinalo had to be helped off the ice, although he wouldn't later return. Kasdorf tried to stay in the game, but after only 50 seconds and the next whistle, he came out of the game in favor of RPI freshman goaltender Cam Hackett, who saw his first collegiate action in a one-goal game at Clarkson. And from there, Clarkson was able to really start controlling the flow of play. RPI did get another power play later on, but they weren't able to connect on that one. And it was with 1:56 left in regulation that Terrence Amorosa scored his first goal of the season unassisted to knot the game up at 2, scoring on a shot basically from the point that eluded Cam Hackett to tie the score. Game went into overtime. Both teams got 2 shots on goal in the overtime period, but neither were able to score the game winner. So if you're RPI, a game that maybe you wanted to get a little more out of, as they did have a 2-0 lead in the game, they had to do it with their freshman netminder coming off the bench cold, but still a good showing for the freshman from Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. He made 10 saves on 11 shots to pick up the decision in this one, a tie for his first collegiate decision. Jason Kasdorf, before coming out with the injury, played 47 minutes and 59 seconds. He made 28 saves on 29 shots by the Golden Knights. Steve Perry in net for the Golden Knights picks up the tie. His overall record now 5-1-1. He made 27 saves on 29 shots by the Engineers. So all in all, a pretty even game. Both teams were 0 for 3 on the power play, picking up 4 penalties each for 8 minutes. The only real difference, the total shots on goal. Clarkson was able to uncover a total of 40 between the two netminders. RPI with only 29. So the good news, if you're an RPI fan, is that the Engineers remain undefeated in ECAC play. 3 games into the season, they stay on top of the ECAC table. A small sample size to be sure, but it feels good to be in first place. And in lieu of Harvard's tie with Yale last night, they are also 2-0-1 in the ECAC play, which gives both teams 5 points and has them at the top of the table.
Yeah, Engineers' best start to a season since 2009-2010 when they started that year 3-0. So really, there are obviously some negatives with the injury to Kasdorf, and knowing his injury history, it can be a little bit of a downer for RPI fans.
It certainly puts a pit in your stomach, and it's going to be a tough challenge this evening for RPI as they travel down Route 11 to take on the St. Lawrence Saints this evening, which is a team that has been very solid this year. They just scored 6 goals on Union last night, and RPI going there without 2 of their top forwards, who also didn't play last night, Evan Tiranese and Milos Rubella, both injured during the Union weekend. And it looks likely, we haven't seen a starting lineup yet, but it seems likely that Cam Hackett is going to get his first collegiate start against the Saints tonight.
Yeah, it's a possibility for sure. But all things considered, if you don't look at how the game actually progressed, if you just show the result 2-2, Shield Arena has been a tough place for RPI to go, especially, well, seemingly more in the regular season than the postseason.
Yes.
Where they've had some success. But in regular season games, usually, first of all, a lot of goals get scored, a lot more than were scored last night. RPI did a good job defensively, and the Engineers were able to come away with a result, which they haven't been able to do really throughout the history of this series. Clarkson has the most wins against RPI among any team that RPI has ever played.
Yeah, if you were to tell Seth Apper before the game started, look, you can skate out of here with a draw this evening, you wouldn't even have to play the game, would you do it? Maybe, you know.
Yeah, he's probably a little more.
He's a gamesman. He's a competitor. I'm sure he'd want to go for it.
I'm sure he would go for it.
But if you said if say 1 point from this game, would you be happy before the game started? Yeah, most RPI fans at Clarkson, that'd be a good result. And that might also be a good result tonight against St. Lawrence.
I would not.
Two ties. You know, usually you pick up 2 points on a road weekend. It's a good weekend.
Yep.
So RPI at least setting themselves up to finish up strong, but they will be certainly a big challenge this evening as they take on St. Lawrence.
Well, we do have some news that could benefit the football team, which we were going to talk about a little bit. But Hobart beat St. Lawrence today.
Wow.
So that opens up options for RPI. Now, the caveat here is that the Saints...
they do need to lose next week.
Right,
in order for RPI
to Merchant Marine at home.
Right, which will not be easy. But as long as because the Engineers won today against Springfield, which we'll get into more during the second intermission, and with St. Lawrence losing to Hobart, that does open the door. As long as RPI can beat Union for the Dutchman's Shoes next week, and if Merchant Marine somehow finds a way to beat St. Lawrence in Canton next week, RPI would be the Little League champions, and they would be going to the national tournament. So the door remains open. It's not open very far, but it's there. It's certainly a better situation than heading into next weekend with no chance at all. So we will see what happens with RPI. Football, we're going to talk about that a little bit more during the second intermission.
Yeah, we'll definitely touch on the football team. We had a big win today. We'll get to that in the second intermission. But before we do, we'll take a quick break and be back with the second period here where Clarkson leads RPI 1-0. You're listening to RPI Hockey on 91.5 FM, WRPI Troy.
Fieldhouse here on the campus of Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute in Troy, New York, as we get set to bring you the second period of action between the RPI Engineers and the Clarkson Golden Knights. Your score after one period of play is Clarkson 1 and RPI 0. My name is Tom Reel. I'm joined by Perry Lascaris. And you listen to all this on your home for Engineers Hockey, 91.5 FM, WRPI Troy. Before we get started with the second period, we'd like to thank the Rensselaer Union, which provides the funding for WRPI, and all the club-related activity of the Institute, including WRPI's coverage of RPI hockey, football, and baseball. Just a reminder, WRPI is on the World Wide Web. Point your browser to WRPI.org. And you can pick up WRPI's broadcast 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, as long as WRPI broadcasts. We provide that broadcast on our internet feed. Once again, that is WRPI.org. Engineers wearing their home whites in this game. And the Golden Knights, their road greens with gold trim. And the Engineers will be skating from left to right across your radio dial here in the second period.
Yes, they will. Thanks to whoever provided the press box hot dogs this evening. I believe it was Sachi Enna or Sachi Vines, as the case is now. We're underway here in the second period. I'll stop talking about hot dogs as the Golden Knights dump it in. We'll go behind the goal. Off the backboards by Bohonic. Taken over again by Gable. Fighting for it in the corner was Ambrose, and now it's pinched away. A chance for RPI to break 2-on-1. The pass near side, a little bit off the mark. It'll force Thomas to play it up in the air, and it goes out of play. We'll have a stoppage here. Just 31 seconds into the second period. 2-1 Clarkson leading.
That's a really good example of exactly how RPI is going to get themselves back in this game. It's going to be a fast counterattack. It's kind of a little bad puck luck for the Engineers that the puck ended up going out of the zone because there was a 3-on-1 developing if the Engineers could hurry back. They already had a 2-on-1, but just a bad motion with the puck. That gives Clarkson the opportunity to reset.
Yeah, Wash looked to play it across ice and maybe should have carried it on her own. Would have sped up the play a little bit. Clarkson looking to break the other way. Hansen, there's a Golden Knight offside. Hansen has plenty of time now. She'll shoot it up the far boards. Pass spun Grigsby around. That'll allow Clarkson to take over. Golden Knights have it in their own zone. Up in the air, knocked out of the air by Schwalbe, but they carry on into the zone. Olivia Howe into the circle. Drop pass. Shot save made on the pad. On the try by Bannon. She fires that one off the side of the net. Comes back out to center, carried on by Grigsby. Grigsby fires it off of one of the defenders there. That was Pausabone. Clarkson has it now out to neutral ice. Howe up the boards. Taken over by the Engineers. They go D to D in their own end. Whitney Wren. They can catch Clarkson in a change if they hurry, but Wren will skate it up on her own. A little bit of speed for her. Pulls it back. Takes a shot right on. Save Ray and May. The rebound popped away for a second. Will be knocked down by Rooney. Puck stays in the offensive end. Chopping at it was Hilwa. Didn't go anywhere. Now Rooney trying to jump on it. Pokes it towards the net. It'll be covered up as it went towards the goal by Tiley. And we'll have a stoppage in play.
RPI looking to take advantage when they do have numbers on Clarkson. That's always important when you're playing anybody, but when you're playing a top team, it's one of your only real options to get an advantage is to have numbers. And a good job there by Whitney Wren to take advantage of an opportunity and get a scoring chance.
Puck picked up at the blue line. Mankey tossing it near side neatly for Banks. She'll fire it towards goal. Went wide. Rooney at the far wall. It eludes her, and it'll be skated out to center by Clarkson. Bella Reeve to the RPI line. She'll glove it to herself. Loose in the circle. Banks takes it away. Nearly ran into Hilwa. They had to kind of dodge each other. Puck in the far corner now. Shot off of a tight angle. Will be scooped up. It popped up in the air after Solander made the tight angle stop, and she'll glove it with the left hand.
Yeah, almost disaster there for the Engineers as Hilwa only almost body checked her own player, which would have created plenty of ice for Clarkson in their attacking zone. But other than that, still some pretty solid defense by the Engineers.
Kick behind the goal. Clarkson on it. They'll play it back to the point. Jumping into the attack is Harmon. Harmon off the backboards. Gets it to herself. To the far side. Centering pass swatted away by Godin. Far side corner. It's Olivia Howe. Down low. The Engineers take over. Godin can't get that pass away. Swept back into the near corner. Looking for Gable. Near side corner again. Backhanded to the point by McGill. Intercepted for a second by Tomlinson. Kept in the zone momentarily, although the Golden Knights thought it was out of the zone, so they all vacate the offensive end. Gruschow, far side. Some help from Wash. They dig away in the skates of one of the Clarkson players. Near side, Tomlinson. Touch pass back for Godin. Indirect pass off the near boards. Picked away by Ambrose. She'll play it back to her own zone. Now they'll work it out to the far side into the offensive end. Thrown towards the net. Deflected off an RPI skate and wide of goal. That would have been tough luck there. Another shot deflects. A shot saved by Solander. Another try. Swept off the side of the net. And finally Wren's going to pick it up here. Can't clear it out. Kept in on the long shot. It'll come in to the chest protector of Solander, and she'll hold on. RPI dodges the bullet there as Clarkson looking dangerous here in the second period.
You wouldn't think this is Lovisa Solander's first time playing Clarkson in her career because she looks very calm and collected out there, almost the way you'd expect a very experienced goaltender to be. She's been everywhere she's needed to be so far this evening.
Played around to the near side corner. Still 1-0 Clarkson leading RPI. As it's worked free by McKenna Thomas out to center ice. Grigsby over skates. Tap back to the RPI end. Wren takes a look around before picking up the puck. Her cross ice pass a little off the mark for Schwalbe. It'll go all the way down the ice and will be icing on RPI. So this unit out here that RPI is skating with, that's 3 freshman forwards together, Thomas, Grigsby, and Schwalbe.
And they've all shown a kind of an ability already as freshmen to be dangerous in the attacking zone. It's going to be really fun to watch these 3 women as they progress up through the years here at RPI. When you see freshmen with that kind of ability, it's fun to watch.
Jacobson at the point keeps it in for Clarkson. There's also a couple sophomores out there on the blue line for RPI. That would be Kimberly and Wren. So very young group out there now. And, of course, the freshman goaltender that Tom touched on moments ago, Solander. Puck out to center by Thomas, controlled by Clarkson. Up the boards, RPI trying to make a change there. Clarkson trying to catch him on it. Carried into the zone by Mercer. Mercer on the move. A shot goes wide. She was pressured there by a couple Engineers. Now to center, Mankey can't quite control the pass, but Clarkson backs off, allowing Tremblay to carry in. Tremblay trying to take a shot. She fanned on it. Now kicking at the puck. Tremblay is going to keep it in the zone for a second. She does. Nice play at the line. Far side corner, Rooney has Mankey behind the net. She'll look to just shield it there as RPI will find its shape in the offensive end. 15:34 to go in the second. Shots are 19-5 Clarkson. They have a 1-0 lead over the Engineers here. Outlet pass connects Fournier into the offensive zone. Try to make a move. Play the puck through the legs of Banks. And now it's tied up behind the net. Centering pass out in front. Wide open save by Solander. Far side circle. Bohonic trying to clear it out. She runs into a couple Golden Knights, including Fournier, and goes down. Puck played behind the RPI goal. Banks is the first one to it. She'll play it back around far side for classmate Mari Mankey. Up the boards out to center. It's Katie Rooney. 4 goals on the season for Rooney, including 2 last Saturday against Colgate, allowing the Engineers to come back and tie that game. Up the far side boards, Clarkson plays it, intercepted at center by Hansen. She'll chip it up the far wall, but threw it right onto the tape of Harmon, who carries into the RPI zone. Harmon moving in, takes a shot over the top of the net, hits off the glass behind the cage. Played to the far side circle, loose puck, collision, puck comes free now. Clarkson has it, shot coming, blocked by Grushow. Far side poked at by Mariani. Golden Knights still on it, though. Grushow takes over. Tomlinson breaking. Grushow tries to find him and does. On the move, it's Tomlinson, a backhand try, and she's cut off nicely by Ambrose. Never got the shot off. Ran at the near point. She'll fire it down low. Hit a skate, deflects behind the cage. Tomlinson chops at Ambrose. Ambrose to the far side. Mariani up the boards. Good pinch by Godin. Godin down low. Engineers looking to skate now with Clarkson here. It is played on the near side. Good play at the boards by Wash, but she is tired and needs a change here, so do the rest of her line mates, and that'll allow Clarkson to take over. 14 minutes left in the second period. 1-0 Clarkson leading, and move into the zone is McCauley. Center ice feed. Good defensive play there by Kimberly on the back door. Now moving in, Vinkel into the near corner for McCauley. Played around the far side. Mariani holding. Indirect to the point. Pass handcuff Jacobson, or make it Keenan rather, but she's able to keep it in the zone. Far side corner now, McCauley down low around to the near side. Mariani taken away by the Engineers. Thomas, look ahead pass too far for Grigsby. It's broken up by Keenan. Backhanded in the air and into the RPI end of the ice. They'll track it down. Clarkson gets a change. Whitney Wren with 13:22 to go in the second. Up the near side boards for Thomas. Too far for her at the Clarkson line. They'll flip it right back out to center. Jumping the play, Kimberly. She gets knocked down on the play by Gable. No arm goes up. Well, there is an arm up, excuse me. Penalty coming up here. Looks like a body check from our angle. Pretty clear. The call is made by Nate Turner. RPI will go on his third power play.
And Nate Turner, the referee behind the play on that one, making the call, and it's the right call. It was not a mere collision. It was a pretty forceful body check. And so the Engineers back on the power play. They're 0 for 2 so far this evening. They've had a hard time getting things set up. The Clarkson penalty kill has pretty much been everything that it's advertised as. They've only given up 2 power play goals so far this season in 13 games. But if you're RPI, a golden opportunity now to try and get themselves back into this game and tie it up.
Clearing effort off the defensive zone draw for the Golden Knights. RPI will head back to their own zone to pick up the puck. Hannah Bohonic on it from Minnetonka, Minnesota, junior. Coach Burke had some nice things to say about her in their pregame interview. Alexa Grushow down low with it all the way around to the far corner. Grushow, the most dynamic forward on this squad. She has been essentially since she stepped on campus here. As the centering pass broken up at the side of the cage. Clearing attempt, knocked down behind the net by an Engineer. That's Rooney. Rooney off the wall for Wash. To the point. Hansen a shot. That one's blocked. Poked at by Grushow. Still loose to the side of the crease. You can still see it here. Now it'll be smothered by the glove of Tiley. We get some extra pushing and shoving after the whistle.
That puck was sitting below the skates of about 4 different players, and Kylie just kind of dove out of her crease to grab it. If you're the goaltender and you see that puck just sitting anywhere near you, that's what you want to do. So Shea Tiley being her own best penalty killer there, getting the stoppage of play with 12:17 left in the second period and 1 minute and 11 seconds remaining on the penalty to Gable.
They're going to get Grushow for a penalty here. It's going to be a roughing call. Oh boy, that'll negate the final minute 11 of this RPI power play. And Jen Godin, who could be one of the designated captains for tonight's game. RPI not choosing to go with any permanent captains for this season. Different seniors will take on the role game to game, week to week, and Godin clearly the captain here for RPI, having discussion with the official on the play.
Not sure where this roughing call came from. Grushow was one of the ones that the puck was at her feet. There wasn't really much more than any regular pushing and shoving that goes on when the puck is directly in front of the net. So we'll see 4-on-4 here for the next minute and 11 seconds.
Well, luckily for the Engineers, the former forward, Whitney Wren, has the puck, and she's on the move, although she lost it and went down. Now Clarkson can break 2-on-1 the other way. Kimberly, the lone RPI defenseman, back. Moving in, drop pass, good defensive effort by Tomlinson to break up the play, and now Mankey out to center. Puck gets by her just a bit, kicked at by Wren. Maybe a hand pass here? Maybe someone in the Clarkson bench.
It was a little bit strange that the penalty to Grushow came down. I mean, he just kind of seemed to come from way out of nowhere. It was just like roughing where, especially considering the way the play went down. It was on the heels of some good power play opportunities for the Engineers, and really kind of a shame that they weren't able to see the rest of that through.
Through center into the zone. Howe for Mercer. Kaylee Mercer back to the point. Shot coming. That goes wide. Solander didn't look like she saw it. She reacted a little bit late to it, but luckily for her, it went wide of the net. Jumping into the attack, there was Rooney. Good play the other way by Mercer. She'll dump it in. Or Howe, rather. Mercer trying to track it down. Played behind by Banks to the far side. Ambrose. Another offensive-minded defenseman. 111 points for Ambrose in her career in 105 games. That's fantastic numbers for any blue liner. There's a shot coming off the shoulder of Solander. She didn't see that at all in the try by Pausabone. She was just in the right place at the right time, and that's what a lot of goaltending is. Still on the attack, however. Howe, a shot save. Rebound put again off of Solander, and the Engineers are going to clear. Rooney doing the job, but a couple of point-blank saves by Lavisa Solander keep this a 1-0 game. 36 seconds of power play time as Grushow still in the box. 10:50 left in the second. As Golden Knights will break out of their own zone. Here comes Harmon on the move into the RPI end of the ice. Carrying it down low. Stick handling wide to the near side corner now. All the way around to the point. Still Harmon on the puck. She'll work to the far corner. Far point around the world there for Savannah Harmon. Near side point now. Shot coming. Easy blocker save that time on the try by Pausabone. Down low, Titus. Hands it off for Bellarine. Trying to work it free was Godin. Back to even strength as it's swiped away by Hansen, but not out of the zone. Far side point, they keep it in. So the Engineers kill off the very brief Clarkson power play. And now it's picked up by Grigsby, trying to skate out to center with it. Gets it as far as center ice. Now she's pinned against the boards by Bellarine. They tie up right at the red line, far side. Halfway through the game, Clarkson with a 1-0 lead. They move it into the zone. It's Amanda Titus. Titus on the backhand throws it in front. And Godin was in good position defensively and didn't see the puck, but it's swept away. Engineers out to center, now dump right back in. Godin, far corner with it. Off the boards. Poked at. Engineers trying to pry it out to center ice, and they do. It's Grigsby who lost the puck on the stick handle. Turning back the other way, moving in are the Golden Knights here. Pausabone, and we'll make it Mariani far side. Mariani looks to cycle, handing it off. Now they play it back to the far point. Shooting it in deep was Ambrose. Far side spinning it with it, Shannon McCauley. The senior from Mount Herbert, Prince Edward Island, kept in at the far point by Ambrose. First one to it is going to be Harmon on the pinch, but Josephine Hansen takes it away. RPI can break the other direction. Here comes Tomlinson all by herself. Engineers changing behind her. Grushow trying to join the play. Picked up by Wash in the slot. A shot flipped up high off the back of Grushow. And it's controlled by the Golden Knights again. Out to center it goes, glove down, and played into the offensive end by Vinkel. Engineers take over again. Tomlinson hollering for the puck. She wanted it quicker, trying to catch the Golden Knights in a change. In the end of the play, just dumps it in. Picked up by Harmon behind her own goal, being pressured by Wash, who had a good chance moments ago to get a wrist shot off. Just kind of misplayed the puck. Now a shot goes wide from the center of the slot. Played into the corner by the goalie stick of Solander. 8:22 to go in the second. 1-0 Clarkson leading here. We're 5 skaters aside as the puck comes out of the corner. Shot from a tight angle save. Rebound, another shot by Solander, and she'll cover it up this time and gets a whistle.
Well, this is very much a hockey game, Perry. Any thought that Clarkson was just going to come in here and clear out the Engineers has so far been put to rest by the play of RPI defensively and really their ability to counterattack, especially here in the second period. They haven't scored a goal yet, but they've looked dangerous when moving the puck. Move it quickly through the neutral zone, get an opportunity to score. They haven't put it in yet, but they look like they could, and that's all they need right now down a goal.
Played behind by Jessica Gillum for Clarkson. Spinning behind the net now is Leffler. This fourth line has not been used very much, if at all, today. I don't remember them being out there until now. But it's played down the ice. They wave off the icing as it didn't have the legs to get there. Corey Jacobson behind the goal near corner. Up the near wall, right to Banks in the neutral zone. She'll flip it right back into the offensive end. That came off of Thomas, so no icing there. Played behind by Jacobson. The defenseman around to the near side. Hilwa breaks it up. Godin pinching, puck out to center. Engineers will track it down. Coming across from the far side to the near side is Josephine Hansen. Hansen stick handling through center. Fed to the near boards, into the zone, Mankey. She'll filter it towards the net. Deflected, they score! We're tied, what a play! Almost a mirror image of how Clarkson scored. It was a deflected shot and fed into the ice. I believe it's Lindsay Hilwa who did the deflecting here.
For RPI, well, exactly what I was saying. They got the face-off win. They moved down the ice well. And RPI got the deflection that they needed. That's how Clarkson's been living offensively so far today, and that's what RPI needed in order to score their first goal. On a good deflection, they make it 1-1.
So Hilwa gets the goal on the deflected shot. That's what you got to do against good goaltending, good defensive teams. Just throw the puck at the net. Hilwa was in the right place at the right time, hit off the shaft of her stick and in. Now a shot from the point as the Engineers need to be careful here. Clarkson on the attack, making a move. Harmon steps around Tremblay, picked up at the point, faking a shot but losing it on the stick handle was Keenan. And the Engineers look to clear it out near side. Hilwa can't get another zone. Now she can. Tremblay gets overskated there, and it's moved back out to center by the Golden Knights. They look to break back on the counter. Good back check by Tomlinson to break it up. Bohonic behind the net. The Engineers have tied this one. We are 1-1 with 6:34 to go in the second period. Wash up the near boards, out to center. Tomlinson on the move. 2-on-3 for RPI into the zone. Has Bohonic with her. Looking to center, came off of Wash. She'll play it indirectly back to the point. Shot by Banks was blocked by McCauley. Poked out to center by McCauley, and now she'll look to skate. McCauley some room far side. McCauley still on the move. Shot goes wide. She carried it all the way to the low slot. Engineers backing off a bit. It was a good move by McCauley to get free. Back out to center come the Engineers. Tomlinson on the move. She'll backhand it in deep. It'll be knocked down behind the goal by the Golden Knights. Played far side corner. Here's Ambrose. Takes a look up ice. Plays it by Grushow to center. Bella Reeve makes a move around Kimberly. Backhand shot. That hit bodies in front. Could have been Wren or Mariani, who were both standing there. Chipped up the boards. Rooney can't control. Kept in by the Golden Knights right at the line. In the slot now, a shot saved by Solander. Cleared out of danger by an Engineer. That was Kimberly. Behind the goal now, Bannon. Poked loose by Wren. Spinning over there is Bellerive. She'll play it down low for Bannon again. In the air, knocked out of the air by Mercer. And Bellerive behind for Mercer, has some space behind the net, looking to center. A shot saved by Solander, thrown off the back of Solander. It's loose now, still at the side of the crease. Behind the goal now. Indirect to the far point, skips by and out to center. RPI can breathe, at least for a moment, as we have 5 minutes to go in the period. Loose puck, far corner, Rooney picks it up on the giveaway. Now Grigsby looking to jump into the attack. She's tied up. Puck loose near corner. Rooney forces her way in. Rooney to the middle of the slot. She's tripped up and goes down. Penalty on the Golden Knights. And that's all effort by the junior Katie Rooney.
And she's not happy with the call, but it is going to be a tripping call against Lauren Leffler. I'm sorry, that's not Leffler. That's Genevieve Bannon. going to go confusing an 8 with a 9 once again, but key moment now. Clarkson had a lot of the momentum following the RPI goal, and RPI hasn't looked terrible on the power play so far this afternoon. What little opportunities they've had, but this is actually their 4th power play of the game. Their last one was abbreviated, but they were looking good at the time that Grushaw took a penalty, so we'll see if RPI can pounce on one here and get a lead.
Near side Wash off the offensive zone face-off win. Around to the corner now. They're tied up there. Played back to the point. Hansen has it. Near circle. Far side. Bohonic fed near side for Grushaw. Her deflection just caroms up into the glass in the near corner. Schwalbe to the corner for Wash. Pulls it out to the hash marks near side. Wash back to Schwalbe. Stick handling. One-timer Grushaw. Far side Bohonic. Wrist shot looking for the far post. It missed. And now it's picked up at the near point again by Hansen. So move over there for Honeck. She'll line up a slap shot right on. And good sight lines there for Tiley. She saw it all the way and was able to hold on.
Scoring on the Engineers goal, her first of the season, second of her collegiate career, Lindsay Hilwa, the junior out of Cary, North Carolina, with the goal. Assists to Josephine Hansen. That's her first collegiate assist. And Mari Mankey, even strength goal at 12:43.
Played in towards the net. A couple players went down behind the cage and allows Clarkson to clear it all the way down. Still 1:09 to go on the RPI power play. 3:55 to go in the second period. RPI has come back to tie this one at 1, although the Golden Knights are doing some good defensive work, penalty kill work behind the RPI goal. Just muscling the puck against the boards is Kaylee Mercer. Finally, RPI able to dig it out of there. And it's Jen Godin. Godin to center, bouncing puck at the Golden Knights blue line. It'll be played right back into RPI territory, knocked down by the paddle of the stick by Solander. That one came in on goal. Shots are 29-7 Clarkson. But all that matters is the goal column, and we are even in that department. Another clearing effort by Clarkson as RPI can get as far as the line, the blue line that is, but not into the zone as of yet here on this power play outside of that opening draw. Here's Hilwa, the goal scorer, carrying in far side. Hilwa makes a move. Rooney helps it into the far corner. 14 seconds to go on the RPI power play. Rooney breaks up the play in the far corner. Pinned in there. Two Engineers, I should say, trying to fight for that puck. You gotta be careful there. You don't want to take a penalty. It's cleared out to center, picked up by Bohonic. She'll control it in the neutral zone, just flick it right back into the offensive end. Couple Engineers touch up and in fact go off on line changes. As it's moved out to center with speed in the offensive zone is Bannon for Clarkson. Shot. Save made. Pad or blocker there for Solander. This one will hop out of play and nearly into the scorer's box. So we'll have a stoppage here. You are listening to live coverage of RPI Hockey, 91.5 FM, WRPI Troy.
That penalty kill for Clarkson, very similar to their first one of the game, which perhaps not coincidentally was also with Genevieve Bannon in the box. Just some good pressure, not really so much forechecking, but just nearly along their blue line, just making it difficult for RPI to move the puck back through the neutral zone. RPI with a decent chance while they still held the puck in the attacking zone, but once it was out, it was difficult for them to get anything going.
Tomlinson into the zone. Fed near side all the way through to the corner. It'll be picked up behind by Bannon. She'll fire it around the far side for Harmon. Up the boards and now carried on further. Howe ahead for Mercer. Mercer dumps in. First one to it, Wren. Played around to the half boards, Tomlinson. Ambrose knocked it down on the pinch. Bannon behind. Mercer centering pass. That one's broken up. Popped high in the air behind the goal. Bannon back on it. Bannon near side. Grushaw takes it away. At the half wall, it's Howe. She's roughed up by Tomlinson. Loose in the circle. Clearing attempt. Tomlinson back on the puck. Kimberly, and she'll feed it on. Into the zone, Wash. A little bit of room. She'll take a slap shot glove save, and it will be held onto by Tiley. Wash doing a little bit of something there when there really was no other play.
Well, that's the way they scored their first goal of the game here, was just basically ripping one on goal and seeing what happens. And on that shot, I'm not entirely certain that Shea Tiley was real confident in her ability to get to that one. She looked a little bit shaky as she scooped it out of the air, but she did make the save. Top goaltenders are going to do that when they get the opportunity to, and the shot ultimately not really that big of a deal, but RPI's got to take shots if they're going to get themselves more in this game.
Played behind as the Golden Knights get it deep around to the far side corner. Lauren Gable. Mankey has her tied up in the corner. More towards the far side hash marks of the circle now. Bohonic wrapped up a bit, but it gets the pass off behind the net for Hansen, who tries the near side. Tremblay to center. Good connection on into Rooney. Rooney on the move, trying to make a move. Turns around in the corner, and we got a penalty coming up here. This of the softer variety, I believe. It's going to be a hit from behind. Looked like Rooney kind of lost her balance. And I think she's going to draw a penalty anyway on one of the Golden Knights.
Yeah, this is a tough one to call. It wasn't really a dangerous play. It wasn't really a
looked like
much of anything at all. Like you said, it looked like she just kind of lost an edge or something. But RPI getting a power play out of it with 1:06 left in the second period.
This will be the 5th power play for RPI of the game. They're 0 for 4. Clarkson 0 for 2. Number 1, each of those was kind of an abbreviated 30-second power play due to them being so close together. Puck to the far point. Bohonic has it tied up in her skates. Now it's picked up Grushow. A little saucer pass near side, bouncing puck. Wash has it. She'll just filter it down low. Now Rooney hands it off for Grushow. Grushow makes a move to the near side circle. Grushow all the way up top. Hands it off for Wash. Wash trying to dig it out of her skates. Does enough to find it. Pass to Rooney. Rooney stick handling along the wall. And just looking for some more space, and they'll maybe find it in the corner. Wash plays it back around to the point for Hansen. Hansen with some pressure plays up the wall for Rooney. RPI trying to get off this near side wall. They finally will. Cross ice feed comes through. A shot by Bohonic goes wide. She got all of that one. Picked up by Rooney now. Down low for Wash. Minute 13 to go in the power play. Hansen up top. Far side. One-timer Bohonic. High and wide. And that goes up into the netting. Deflected, so we'll stay in the zone with 1:07 left on this power play. 12 seconds to go in the second period.
RPI on the power play has loved to set up on the stick side of Shea Tiley and just rip shots from the top of the faceoff circle. Hasn't cashed in yet, but boy, they've looked good doing it. A lot of shots from players like Tomlinson and Wash from over there.
Far side circle faceoff win by the Golden Knights. This could kill off the rest of this period at least. Penalty looks to be carrying over into the third. 3 seconds to go. RPI in their own zone. Grushow with the puck. Well, we have a tie game after 40 minutes of the Houston Fieldhouse. It's the RPI Engineers and the 4th-ranked and undefeated Golden Knights all square at 1-1.
When you're facing a team as good as Clarkson, there can be a little bit of an intimidation factor that comes into play, and it's kind of an intangible that allows good teams to take advantage of even early leads. If a team is knowing that they're up against it, against a top squad, and they get down, some teams without a little bit of backbone to it, sometimes they're just going to pack it in at that point. But give a lot of credit to RPI. They didn't give up. Second period, they came out flying, did what they needed to do. And let's not be, saying that this is a very even game. Clarkson still is controlling the puck very well. The shot totals in the second period were 16-6 in favor of the Golden Knights. Not quite as lopsided as it was during the first period, but that still leaves it as at 31-9 for the first 40 minutes. It's indicative of the possession, but RPI is staying in this game by doing what will keep them successful against Clarkson, and that's exactly what I've been getting on during the first and second period. It's not so much trying to maintain pressure in the zone as much as just taking control of the puck when they can, moving quickly, counterattacking. That's how they scored their goal. And if they're going to get another one, it's probably how they're going to have to do it during the third period. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be back with the second intermission. We'll talk RPI football with you. Your score after 2 periods of play is RPI 1 and Clarkson 1. You're listening to live coverage of Engineers hockey on 91.5 FM, WRPI Troy.
It's just me against the world.
The winning number is puck number 15. If you're the purchaser of puck number 15, you are the purchaser. Ryan's Wake and Chuck Puck competition. Thank you for participating. Ryan's Wake is proud to support RPI Engineers. Puck number 15 is our Chuck Puck winner today.
We're the friends who hang out when you do nothing. We're the friends who laugh at the same things you do.
We're the friends who will help you move.
I'm the friend who'll be there if you're ever dealing with a mental illness. there for your friend. Your support and understanding will give them a much greater chance of recovery. Mental illness. What a difference a friend makes. For more information on how to help a friend dealing with mental illness, go to whatadifference.org. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Don't be stupid with your skin. It's the only skin you're in. Know what's good and bad to do. Find the right and wrong for you. It's time to learn what it's about. 'Cause in your tan is out. UV lamps from a tanning bed. They can turn your skin red. Wrinkles come from the UV light. Age spots make you like this. UV light.
And we welcome you back inside the Houston Fieldhouse for our second intermission of today's contest between the RPI Engineers and the Clarkson Golden Knights. Your score after 2 periods of play is RPI 1 and Clarkson 1 here in ECAC women's hockey action. Earlier today at the East Campus Athletic Village Stadium, the RPI football team was in action against the Springfield Pride in Liberty League play. RPI got a late touchdown with 5:17 left in the fourth quarter to take the lead over Springfield and ended up walking off with a 17-14 win on Senior Day in Troy, as the Engineers are done more than likely with their home schedule for the year. There's only one scenario that would have them playing games at home, and that includes going to the national tournament. It's still possible. We'll get into that a little bit later, but it's fairly unlikely, and even if they do make the national tournament, unlikely that they'll be playing any games at home.
Right.
So, for all intents and purposes, the final home game of the
you can call
careers for the RPI seniors.
Senior Day, yeah.
Ended up on a positive note as the Engineers come away with a 17-14 win over Springfield. It was Springfield getting on the board first, and the only way that Springfield was able to score points today was by busting long runs. Jake Eglantine, his first long run of the day was for 60 yards with 8:59 left in the first quarter. The extra point made it 7-0 Pride. And just a few minutes later, a 1-yard run by Austin Amory for the Engineers tied it up on the extra point. 7-7 was the score after the first quarter. RPI was unable to score a touchdown on a 4th down opportunity at the 2-yard line during the second quarter. As time, well, not quite as time expired, with 3 seconds remaining on the clock in the first half, Christian Kapp kicked a 30-yard field goal to give RPI a 10-7 edge heading into the locker rooms. The third quarter was when Jake Eglantine busted yet another long run. This one, a long 88-yard run all the way down the field for a touchdown for the Pride. Gave them the 14-10 lead with 4:58 left to play in the third quarter. The Pride would get the ball another 2 times, killed off some clock, but not nearly enough to walk off with the victory as the Engineers struck with 5:17 remaining. A 44-yard pass from Jeff Avery to Logan Gadar capped off a 3-play drive. Put the Engineers back on top 17-14 with the extra point. And that was all the Engineers needed as the defense buckled down long enough to pick up the win. So Jake Eglantine for Springfield, their quarterback, finishes the day with a total of 206 yards on the ground and 2 touchdowns. Certainly a decent day for him, but not enough to give the Pride the win. Passing for the Engineers, Jeff Avery was 14 for 13, 185 yards and a touchdown. He was sacked 3 times. But the RPI defense coming up big when they had to. They were led by Mark Grimes, who had a total of 9 tackles on the afternoon, 3 solos and 6 assisted. So with the win, the Engineers improved to 7-2 overall. They are 5-1 in Liberty League play. Elsewhere around the Liberty League this afternoon, Merchant Marine knocked off Union 24-14. The Dutchmen are now 0-9 on the season, and they head into the Dutchman Shoes contest with the Engineers next weekend without a win. As Kirk said on the air today, and actually last weekend here at the Fieldhouse, he didn't want to see Union show up to this game without a win because it gives them just that much more to play for against RPI. They're already playing a rival. Now they're doing it to avoid going the entire season without a win. So maybe a little bit of a trap game for the Engineers, but as I also mentioned last week, possibly the first time, perhaps ever, that RPI has gone into the Dutchman Shoes game as the extremely clear favorite to win the Shoes.
I think a couple years ago when Union had their quarterback was injured, I think the odds were stacked against Union. But yeah, it hasn't ever been more clear than now, and they probably have never been this far separated in the standings when they've met. I can't imagine.
Even when RPI has been very good in football, pretty much as Union. So it has been a tight contest for the most part for the last 20 years or so since RPI has become decent at football, I should say. Maybe going on 25 years now if I'm dating myself a little bit. But RPI and Union meeting for the Dutchman Shoes next weekend in Schenectady. Elsewhere in the Liberty League, WPI defeats Rochester 35-24, and the game that is of the utmost importance to Engineers fans, Hobart beating St. Lawrence 19-17. That leaves the door open for the Engineers to possibly move on to the national tournament, but there's a very slim door for them to slip through in order to make it there. With a win against Union next weekend, RPI would clinch a share of the Liberty League title because they would finish the season 6-1.
Yep.
And if St. Lawrence were to win as well, they'd also be 6-1, so there'd be a tie for the title, but it would be St. Lawrence picking up the Liberty League's automatic bid to the national tournament by virtue of St. Lawrence having defeated RPI earlier in the season, which is a tiebreaker.
And if that's what it comes down to, it really came down to a couple plays. That's really what football, I mean, you look at it, you only play so many games in the season. And so, 2 plays go against RPI, and that game's a 3-point game up in Canton. They lose 24-21. It all could come down the entire season to 2 plays from a month ago. You know what I mean? So it's tough if you're RPI, but St. Lawrence was the ones who made those plays, and if so, they will be the deserving, advance automatic bid.
Absolutely. And the scenario, as we mentioned during the first intermission, the only scenario by which the Engineers gain that automatic bid. Kurt mentioned on the air there is a possibility of an at-large bid, but it's pretty slim. It's almost none. The only way RPI is going to make the tournament, realistically, they've got to beat Union next weekend. Seems like it's a pretty solid possibility, but the other thing that needs to happen, St. Lawrence has to lose at home to Merchant Marine. That would be the 3-5 Merchant Marine. So stranger things have happened, but not very frequently. The doorway is there, but the pathway is slender. But Engineers still have a lot to play for. The Dutchman Shoe is important every single season. Some seasons it's the only thing that ends up being important. But plenty to play for RPI next weekend. We'll have to see how it all shakes out. We will be back with the third period. Here from Houston Fieldhouse momentarily. Your score after 2 periods of play is RPI 1 and Clarkson 1. You're listening to Engineers Hockey, 91.5 FM WRPI Troy.
Left your heart zone, is that what devils do? took it so long, where only fools go. I shook the angel and
This is Campus Radio at RPI, WRPI, Troy, New York.
And we welcome you back inside the Houston Fieldhouse here on the campus of Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute in Troy, New York, as we get set to bring you the third period between the RPI Engineers and the Clarkson Golden Knights. Your score after 2 periods of play is RPI 1 and Clarkson 1. Before we get started with the third period, we'd like to thank the Rensselaer Union, which provides funding for WRPI and all the club-related activity of the Institute, including WRPI's coverage of RPI football, hockey, and baseball. As a reminder, WRPI is on the World Wide Web. Point your browser to WRPI.org. And you can pick up WRPI's broadcast 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, as long as WRPI is broadcasting. We provide that broadcast on our internet feed. Once again, that's WRPI.org. My name is Tom Reel, and I'm joined here by my good friend and colleague, Perry Lascaris.
Ready to go?
We are ready to go. We are 5 seconds away from the third period. And as I mentioned in the second period, if you thought that Clarkson was just going to come in here and blow RPI out of their own building, there's still time for that to happen, but it has not happened yet.
And this is exactly where we were last year with a 1-1 game going to the third. Clarkson got an early third period goal last season. Engineers hoping to rewrite things here. Wash into the offensive zone. She'll pull up at the half boards and just shoot it around to the far side. Puck gets away from Harmon for a second. Picked up by Grushow in the corner. Grushow behind the net. Stops there. Spinning. Get free. Still Grushow. To the half wall for Wash. Still 30 seconds to go in this RPI power play. Hanson, a shot deflects wide. Spinning puck behind the net. Picked up by Rooney. Rooney pins against the wall by Harmon. 17 seconds to go in the power play. Wash off the back wall. Over for Grushow. Now Wash in the corner. 10 seconds to go in the power play. Hanson up top, far side circle. Rooney finds it. Hanson again, near side Bohonic. Wrist shot coming, save. Rebound played behind. 1 second, we're back to even as Jacobson out of the box. Wash shooting it far side. Hanson can't control the puck. It goes trickling into RPI territory. Skating after it is Kelly Mariana. And Mariana, who's just off the bench, couldn't quite track down the puck, or she would have been in clean. There's a centering pass by Mariana. Comes all the way free to the far point. Jacobson off the far boards and down low for Howe. Howe trying to play it behind for Mariana. And the pass is broken up, and the Engineers move it out to center. Hilwa puts the pressure on, but Pozzabone plays it far side. Now into the zone is Mariana. To the far side point. The pass down low, intercepted by Hansen, trying to scoop it up off the glass. Out to center, can't do so. Kept into the far point by Jacobson. Jacobson has it now at the point. She'll just slide it down low. Over there for Mercer. Mercer around to the near corner. Make it Howe. Howe and Mariana are there. As Godin runs into Howe. Played out in front. That came off of Solander and out to center. Kind of a centering pass. There wasn't much angle if it was a shot. Back in the neutral zone. Scoop it into RPI territory. Picked up by Banks. Banks up the boards near side for Tomlinson. Tomlinson off the wall and into the Golden Knights end. Keenan throws it far side up the boards. Poked in the air. Into RPI's end of the ice. We have an offside whistle. 17:41 to go in the third period. RPI and Clarkson are tied 1-1.
Clarkson was fortunate just after they killed off their penalty not to take too many men on the ice call, as the puck ended up over by their bench just as they were changing. Almost struck the departing player in the skates. Ended up going to the player that she was going off for. But no harm, no foul. And it actually ended up turning into an opportunity for Clarkson to get themselves back on top.
Grigsby out to center. Wren will shoot it in after crossing the red line. It'll be played around to the far side as Thomas leans on one of the Golden Knights, but Clarkson's able to clear out to center. 3-on-2 rush into the zone. Far side circle deflects off a skate. That was good defense by Kimberly and Wren. Just hold their positions on the potential 3-on-2 there. Now a puck poked at, loose in the slot still. Schwalbe just casually moving out to center for Grigsby. Up ahead for Schwalbe into the Clarkson zone. Too far for her as Posabone has it for Clarkson. Just off the bench and into the RPI end now. Comes Mercer, tried to stick handle around Kimberly. That's cut off. Puck not cleared, however. Moving in, a shot deflects wide. Another block that time by Banks on the try by Howe. Howe behind the net, trying to find Bannon. Played back to the point. And now Bannon off the boards. That pass to the near point, easily intercepted by Grushow. Grushow trying to make a move into the offensive zone, flips it in deep. She'll try and race Bannon to the puck. Bannon plays it behind. And it'll be picked up by Cassidy Winkle. Up the far side boards into the skates and moved into the zone by Posabone. Now the Engineers have it up the wall. Good pass ahead for Grushow. Grushow in the circle, pulls it back, takes a shot, partially blocked, goes wide. Now to the near side, it's Bohonic. Picked up in the circle. Bohonic turning towards the near point. Has some pressure on her. That was Posabone. Now Tomlinson a shot. Loosens some skates. Shot by Grushow. Save. Penalty coming up here on the Golden Knights. And it's again an RPI forward in the offensive zone. Really selling out to try and make a play. Before it was Rooney. That time Grushow getting to a loose puck. Getting a shot off. Drawing a penalty.
And this is a little bit of a weak call, I think. Grushow kind of made a dive for the puck, which from behind, which is where the referee Di Pasquale was when he saw it. It might have looked like she was being impeded by Jacobson. She was really just kind of making a dive for the puck. She made a great dive for the puck and ended up with a great scoring opportunity. But kind of a soft call against the Golden Knights, but the RPI is going to take it here as they get another opportunity with the man advantage.
Sixth power play for RPI here. They're 0 for 5. Godin plays catch at the top of the zone with Kimberly. Near side, Godin again. Godin holding, near circle. Tomlinson back up top for Godin. Waiting. Far side for Kimberly. Kimberly back to Godin, right on the ECAC logo, center blue line, moving in. Godin looking, searching, near side for Tomlinson. Pass off the mark. She'll track it down along the boards. Kicked at by Mankey. Try to play it back to the point. Pressure comes on Godin, and it's back out to center. Good defensive effort there by McCauley. RPI a little bit too casual with the puck. It's cleared all the way down by Clarkson here. Engineers have been given a number of chances here on the power play. As I mentioned, this is their sixth. Have yet to been able to capitalize on it. For the year, almost 2-1 RPI power plays to penalty kill situations. Coming into today's play, there's a dump in by Clarkson. Engineers will chase it down halfway through the power play. 15 minutes left in the third period in a 1-1 game. RPI and the fourth-ranked Golden Knights. Poked into Golden Knight territory, picked up there by Posabone. Shooting it far side, it comes all the way out and all the way down. Hannah Bohonic back to claim it for the Engineers behind Lavisa Solander, who's made 32 saves already in this game. Shots are 33-10 in favor of Clarkson. Shot off the glass behind the goal, around to the far side. Rooney picks it up, trying to make a move, poked off her stick and cleared out. The first play by Harmon, and it was cleared out by McCauley. Engineers will start over again in their own zone. Hannah Bohonic now. down the middle of the ice. Not a whole lot of pace to this game currently. It's shot in. Stopped behind the net by Tiley. She'll leave it there. Stick handling free is Harmon. Harmon on the move. She'll carry it out to center. Pass was broken up, intended for Bannon. Swept back into the zone by Grigsby. 5 seconds to go on a very uneventful power play. It'll be shot far side for the Golden Knights. They'll spin around in their own zone. It's McCauley. McCauley back behind her own goal. Backhand flip to the far side for Harmon. And now out to center comes McCauley. Into the RPI zone. McCauley line up a slapper save by Solander. She'll hold on.
Clarkson penalty kill, just executing with ruthless efficiency there. When you're bringing the puck through the neutral zone, your options to move are limited, and it seems like the only chance you have to get the puck forward is to dump in and try and chase it down. But Clarkson's ready for that. They've got one defenseman back there, and Shea Tiley's ready to scoop pucks up as well. More often than not, it just leads to Clarkson gaining the puck and sending it back down the ice. A really good job of doing that throughout the 2 minutes there by the Golden Knights.
A big collision in the corner. And that goes uncalled. I thought might see a hand go up there. Rooney trying to move into the offensive zone, trying to step around Ambrose. And now Rooney crashing. She gets pushed out of the way. She was going for the puck. Tiley doesn't like something there.
That was closer to a penalty than the hooking call against Jacobson for sure. And the Engineers getting away with one there in the corner of the defensive zone. So we play 5 aside now. RPI now 0 for 6 on the power play. It's not for lack of trying. It's just that Clarkson's penalty kill has a reputation for being outstanding, and they certainly have been that here this afternoon. 13:32 left in the third period. We're tied at 1.
You're getting more practice today, are the Golden Knights. Out to center. Howe has it. Good connection ahead. Mercer into the offensive zone. Pulls it back. Looking for a centering pass. Ambrose flying through. Missed the puck entirely. Engineers a chance to break now with Ambrose way out of the play. Ahead. Thomas into the zone. Great defensive play by the freshman. Pausabone. Now Clarkson going to break the other way. 3-on-1. Banks the lone Engineer back. Bannon. Drop pass. Shot by Mercer. Save made by Solander. And she does not allow a rebound.
When you've got that kind of a lopsided tally heading the other way, 3-on-1, you've got to depend on your goaltender, come up with a big save. That's what Solander did. She was where she needed to be, dropped the puck directly down to her knees, and didn't let up a rebound. Crucial. Facing these shots like a player that's been here for a few years.
Solander another save. We're 13 minutes to go in the third period. 1-1 game, RPI and Clarkson. Engineers get it deep on the dump in by Hilwa. Jacobson playing around to the far side, half wall wash, trying to knock it down, can't do so. Out to center, Hilwa has it. Has a defender on her hip, that's Howe, and she takes it away. Olivia Howe all by herself in the offensive zone. A save made by Solander. Easy stop there. One of the easier ones she's had to make so far in this game. Played around to the near side boards. Wash plays it back behind for Godin. Jen Godin behind the net, hands it off for Hansen. Some pressure came in McCauley. Up the far side boards now for Hilwa, out to center. Controlled and flipped back into the RPI zone where it's picked up by Jen Godin. Godin behind her own net. She'll try the near side, takes a funny hop off the boards. Came free to Mariani, shot by McCauley, hits a skate on his way through, never got to goal. Picked up near corner now. Cycling there is Mariani. Hands it off, a shot, save by Solander on the blocker. On the try by Vinkel. Back behind now, some offensive pressure and possession for the Golden Knights. They cycle it for McCauley in the corner. She's watched by Godin. McCauley spins away at the far circle to the corner, now below the goal line. Near side for Mariani. She'll cycle again into the corner. Trying to take it out of there is Tomlinson. She'll scoop it in the air and all the way down the ice. This may be on goal. Coming out to play it, and they wave off the icing. As Tiley wants to play it quickly, trying to catch the Engineers in a change. They won't be able to as they just dump it in. Picked up by Wren. Wren skating near side of her own zone. Takes a look up ice. Cross ice feed. Finds a teammate. Moved into the zone now. Here's Rooney. Rooney throwing it towards the net. Save made. Rebound comes free just for a second as Shea Tiley thought she was going to try and play the puck, but eventually just covers it in the end.
Well, she didn't really have an opportunity to play the puck because it was Mari Mankey was crashing down the other side, and she was in a good position to scoop that up if Tiley hadn't pounced on it. That's another scoring opportunity for the Engineers.
11:22 to go in the third. Shots are 37-11 Clarkson. But we are tied 1-1. Near side, Bellarive. Engineer went down on the play. Grigsby got tangled up with the puck and some sticks. Now we have a penalty coming up here on RPI, a trip in the neutral zone. Clarkson's still on the attack as Tiley goes off for an extra skater. Puck picked up in the slot. And we will have a Clarkson power play with 11:01 to go. the third man advantage opportunity for the Golden Knights this afternoon.
And this is going to be on,
looks like Thomas?
I believe, yeah, McKenna Thomas, the freshman from Heartland, Wisconsin. Kind of a, I think she meant to get in the way of the player. She tripped up there, but kind of behind the play as the puck had been moving on. Definitely not what RPI wanted right now, is to give Clarkson a man advantage with the game tied here with about 11 minutes left.
Played behind the goal now to the near side. And back to the point. Here's Harmon. Has Mercer with her. Mercer in. Shot. Save. Rebound. Played to the corner. Solander was all sprawled out. Engineers can't clear, however. Gruschow couldn't get it away. In the far corner. Howe. Watched by Banks. And now McCauley sliding her way up the boards towards the point. There's a big collision there. Puck lost. And giving her stick away was Gruschow to Banks. And to the near point it goes, kept in there by Harmon. Engineers on the kill, and with one player without a stick. See what Clarkson can do. Mercer to the circle. A shot that was blocked by the stickless Gruschow. To the near side now, Harmon. Top of the circle with it. Walking in, a wrist shot. High and wide. Karam's off the backboard. Picked up by Ambrose at the far side hash marks. Gruschow bumps into her. Does not have a stick. It's now sitting at the point. Mercer near side. She trades places with Harmon. Harmon holding. Waiting. Watched by Bohonic. Still Harmon. Wrist shot coming. Save on the glove. It's held onto by Solander. She had a very solid outing against North Dakota. Gave up 3 goals way back at the start of the season. This is probably her best performance of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. She's almost single-handedly responsible for keeping RPI in this game. She's got 38 saves now with another just under 10 minutes left to get some more. RPI playing very calm there with what Kurt Stutt would call a 5-on-3.5.
A shot right off the draw comes in on Solander. This will make her 40th. Excuse me, her 39th stop of the afternoon.
Banks lost her stick, and Gruschow handed hers off, but Gruschow still got in there and tried to play a little physical. Tried to push her player off the puck just by using her hands. Didn't work out, but she was still hanging in there.
Another offensive zone faceoff win for the Golden Knights. Still in the attack. Shot comes, saved by Solander. Rebound loose to the side of the crease, and is played behind the cage. Picked up there by Gable. To the far side circle it comes. Centering pass. Tip try. Loose in the slot. Engineers trying to clear. And finally Godin will come over to the wall and move it ahead. Now Rooney trying to make a move. Rooney has a step. Walking in. Rooney to the net. Feeding it in front. A shot put wide. If the net came off, Rooney was taken down. And I believe it's just going to be a face-off here. Good effort shorthanded by Katie Rooney.
And a good effort on the back check there by Gable, who was towing the line of taking probably a hooking call.
That was close.
Yeah, it was very close. But, without the call, probably fine. I don't think it was that egregious. It's the best defensive plays, especially when you're back checking like that. They usually end up towing the line anyway. And
yeah,
just a good heads-up play while RPI had the opportunity shorthanded.
9:16 to go in the third period. A 1-1 game. Still another 13 seconds on this Clarkson power play. Tied up right at the RPI blue line. It's forced into the zone by the Golden Knights. Brandy Banks. Titus comes and takes the puck away. Tomlinson can't quite clear the zone. Bellarive. She'll just play it into the corner. Banks trying to muscle her way in. Played back to the point. We're back to 5 skaters aside as it's shot around to the near side half boards. Jamie Grigsby up the wall. Takes a hit. And a penalty's coming up here on Clarkson as Gable threw a shoulder into Jamie Grigsby, who's still down on the ice on her hands and knees.
I'm not sure that was a smart move by Gable. I mean, she had literally just gotten away with one. Well, as I mentioned, towed the line with one on the back check as RPI was attacking shorthanded. But really an ill-advised hit on Grigsby.
There really was no need for it. The puck was gone, and that's pretty easy for the referee to see and call.
Exactly, and then sometimes in that situation, if you're not body checking, then you're at least impeding, and it's interference.
Right.
So it's either way, it's a penalty, and with 8:43 left in a tied game, I don't care how good you are, it's not a time to be giving away power plays like that.
Now, I think, did Coach Burke want more than a 2-minute penalty there?
It was very blatant. I mean, it wasn't even close to kind of an accidental oops, I ran into you type play. It was a pretty deliberate maneuver by Gable and not really a smart move at all.
7th power play of the afternoon for RPI in a 1-1 game. Lauren Wash in the far corner. I think he was just trying to use the delay in the call as a timeout to talk to his team. The Golden Knights bench didn't like it at all. Now Bohonic, center blue line with it. Engineers looking to set things up on the power play here. Work it down low. Rooney turning, throwing it in front, trying to find Grushow. It's swatted away to the corner. Wash, a tricky move to get free. Centering pass, shot saved. Rebound still loose, and it's going to be pinned together between the legs of the goaltender, Tiley. But RPI knocking on the door.
And Tiley was not sure exactly where the puck was, and in a game like this, it's a bad place to be as a goaltender. Was directly underneath her, and she gets the stoppage, and now a crucial face-off. RPI's got to win it.
Face-off, moved back by Grushow, spinning away from some pressure. That's Bannon over there, is hounding her. Held on to at the point by Wash. Running out of room over there. Hansen does a nice job to get free. Now Grushaw's shot blocked. Picks it back up. Hansen flips one towards the goal. Clearing effort all the way down by the Golden Knights. Seems like when RPI can get pressure on the power play, get possession in the offensive zone. Go ahead.
And RPI almost caught Clarkson being a little too aggressive on the penalty kill there. Yeah, keep it in the zone and had a good scoring opportunity. But then clearing it out, we're going to see what RPI can do now because Clarkson's been good after getting the puck out of the zone.
Mankey behind the goal. Clearing effort to the near point. Godin keeps it in. It seems like when the Engineers do have the puck in the offensive zone, they're able to keep it there. Just getting it in on the power play has been the problem all day. They do have it in the zone right now. It's Tomlinson leaving it in the corner for Schwalbe. Schwalbe behind the net. Schwalbe looking. She'll play it back to the point for Kimmerly. Near side Godin. One-timer coming. Pad save. Rebound still loose. They score! A power play goal. The Engineers have the lead.
7:11 left in the third period. And the Engineers take the lead for the first time today. It's exactly the way you would have expected it. Maybe not on the power play, given the strength of the penalty kill for the Golden Knights, but on a deflection, some kind of bounce, or just a loose puck. That's pretty much the way RPI was going to get goals in this game to start with. It's how they scored their first one, and it's how they get a second one, at least for the time being, because the play is now under review.
Now, that's exactly what you want if you're Jen Godin. At the point, you take a low shot, you force the goaltender, Tiley, to make a pad save. Now she's down. If you can get a rebound there and stuff it in fact took, I believe, a third try to get it by Tiley. I think it went right through her legs in the end. We'll see if this is confirmed, of course, but as of right now, the Engineers have taken the lead on their 7th power play chance of the afternoon.
We don't have a video
No.
I was trying to see the actual review, but what they could be looking at here basically is goaltender interference. If there was an Engineer player that was in Tiley's way as she tried to move to reach the loose puck, that could be grounds for overturning the goal. I'm not exactly certain what they're looking at.
We're taking a peek here, and this is pretty clearly nothing as far as I can see. I just had recently had a review meeting with some of the officials from the NCAA, speaking to some of the broadcasters. I was able to get onto that call, and they're looking to make, as they call it, a good goal. They're looking to lessen the amount of calls that are overturned, goals that are overturned because of goalie interference. Basically, unless the goalie is inside the crease and they're impeded, then there's not going to be an overturn of any of those kind of goals.
Yeah, any of the just kind of incidental stuff, just kind of being nearby. Some of that ticky-tack stuff that was like, really, you're going to overturn it for that? You know, most of the reasons, exactly, you don't want to overturn a goal just because, well, it was against the letter of the law. Well, why is the letter of the law there? It's to make everything fair. If it's just kind of incidental, that's kind of ridiculous. But it is a goal. The Engineers have a lead. They have 7 minutes and 11 seconds to defend it. We'll see how well they can do that. It's going to, mark my words, be an awful lot of Clarkson versus Lovisa Solander for these last 7 minutes. So the officials are fixing the net on the Clarkson side. Kind of came loose without any action, and now we're back to action here at the Fieldhouse.
So here we go, 7 minutes left in the third period. Moving into the zone. Howe pulls it back, takes a shot, looking to maybe head the puck there with Solander. It went high over the top. Played behind by Grushow. Now turning behind the goal to find some space is Bohonic. 2-1, the Engineers have their first lead of the afternoon, but Clarkson on the attack here. Far side circle, Tomlinson breaks it up. Grushow trying to turn it out of danger. Helped along for Wash, she'll move it out to center ice. It's knocked off her stick, back along the line. Tomlinson has it, play it back behind the net for Banks. Banks will try the far side. And it'll be Tomlinson right at the red line, playing it on further for Grushow. Grushow into the zone, holding, fed it on further, spinning around Tremblay. Tremblay to the circle, a wrist shot right on, she'll hold on. That was Tiley who made the save.
Well, if this was a Division I college football game, you'd see the flashing score line at the bottom of the ESPN screen saying upset alert. The Engineers now on alert for potentially being able to pull off the upset here against Clarkson. They have a 2-1 lead with just over 6 minutes left. That's an awful long 6 minutes if you're an RPI fan.
Glove down in the Clarkson zone. Golden Knights will move it up the far side boards. Off McCauley's skate, picked up by Godin, throwing it right down the middle. This will come in on Tiley again. And now back out to center come the Golden Knights. Stick handling and backhanding into the zone was Jacobson. RPI fires it right back down. This should be icing on RPI, and the whistle will blow, indicating that.
5:38 left in the third period. RPI's second goal, a power play goal at 12:49 of the third period. Mari Mankey, her third goal of the season, the 14th goal of her career for the senior from Hopkins, Minnesota. Assists go to Jen Godin and Amanda Kimmerly.
Face-off tied up on the face-off dot. It'll be played behind the net for Godin. 5.5 to go in the third. Engineers break out to center ice. That's Thomas over there, just lost a handle on it. Played up the far side boards, and now a chance for Clarkson. Although one of the Golden Knights lost their stick. That turned a 2-on-1 into a 1-on-1, and that Hansen will clear off the glass out to center. Rolling puck will be tracked down in the defensive zone by Emma Keenan. Keenan up the far boards and all the way down. This could be icing if Wren can win the race, and she will. Icing on the Golden Knights. Very late whistle.
Yeah, for a second, I was wondering if they were going to wave that off, because Wren was very clearly the first to the dot. It was almost like they were calling it NHL-style icing, where you've got to go and touch the puck. So a little bit of a dangerous move because they were both going after the puck. I mean, give full credit to Whitney Wren for playing to the whistle.
Face off in the far side of the Clarkson zone. Picked up by Keenan. She'll play it behind the net, looking for Harmon. Tap to the corner. Wash takes a look around, trying to throw it in front. Was broken up, but getting on the puck is Grushow. She'll cycle for Wash. Wash pinned against the boards. Trying to play it back to the point was Tomlinson. Grushow picks it up in the corner instead. Looking to play it to herself. She gets run into by Harmon. Harmon goes down. Wash comes away with the puck. Back to the point. Kimmerly. Far side Wren. Wren. She'll just play it down low. Engineers with the lead now, 2-1 with 4.5 to play in the third. Shots are 41-16. And now getting her stick stuck in the Zamboni door was Grushow. A little bit of break for Clarkson as they're able to move it out to center ice. Wren will track it down near side of her own zone, played it back out to center. RPI trying to catch Clarkson on a change. Grushow moving in. She also at the end of a shift. They'll be picked up by Tremblay at the near side boards and moved out to center, however, by the Golden Knights. Poked along here. Is a pass all the way through, trying to find Pausabone on the attacking end. Clarkson has it now in the near corner, looking to center, broken up. It's Mercer. Poke free. That's Bannon. She's tied up with Banks now behind the RPI goal. They scrap away right behind Solander. Finally taken away. Here's Mercer to the point. Ambrose a shot, looking for a deflection, and sticking her goaltender stick out was Solander to break up the play. Good awareness, looking for that backdoor play with the Golden Knights, and Solander just cut it right off. Tie up along the far wall now. Banks. Mercer gets back on the puck, kicks it to herself along the boards. Spinning away from Mahonic. As a teammate open in front, it was Howe, but couldn't find her. Howe in the near corner now. 3:20 left in the third. Played back to the point. Ambrose. Wristing one. It's broken up. Side of the cage now behind the net. Hilwa trying to track it down in the far corner. There's some tired legs out there. Mercer to the point for Ambrose. Wristing one towards goal. Takes a deflection. It comes trickling in on Solander as she covers up.
Almost like a mini power play there for Clarkson, although they didn't look that sharp on it. Clarkson obviously needs one here with 3:01 left to play in the third period. But they haven't looked as sharp as they've been earlier in this game. Their passes are not quite as crisp. They're not moving as fast. Maybe there's not as much left in the tank as you would expect.
Face-off win, shot coming, Solander saved, picked up Godin. Has some time to look up ice and feeds it nicely off the boards. Now ahead for Mankey. Mankey into the zone. A shot, save made, and it's held onto by Tiley. And now Mankey gets dumped at the side of the net. And if they're going to call the one on Gruschow, although we are very late in this game, I think Mankey was just trying to mix things up there.
Yeah, I say that about Clarkson, about having something left in the tank, because one major element of Clarkson teams over the last several years has been their conditioning, and that they do have a lot left even late in the game. We are going to get some penalties out of this. I think they're going to go both ways.
Interesting.
We have, looks like, well, maybe it's not going both ways.
Mankey just got dumped, and that's all I saw.
The RPI box is not opening.
Wow.
So it is going to be a power play for RPI.
That's humongous.
That's huge here with 2:50 left. The Engineers going on the power play. Savannah Harmon gets called for roughing. I think that was just her putting Mankey on her rear. And if that's all it's going to be, just a bad maneuver there by Harmon to do that.
Yeah, it's
the sophomore out of Downers Grove, Illinois, has got to have a kind of a more sure head on her shoulders if she's going to be playing Division I hockey. You really can't do that when you're down a goal.
Anyway, shorthanded come the Golden Knights. Into the zone, drop pass Ambrose, wrist shot coming, save, rebound, picked up by Rooney. Engineers want to go. They have a power play, and now they break in 2-on-1. Gruschow making a move, trying to do the drop pass for Wash. Kirsch's shot was blocked by the back check. Good play. That was possible and coming back. RPI power play. If it lasts through its entirety, will take up all but 50 seconds of this third period. The Engineers have a 2-1 lead. Almost like lacrosse here, just looking to run some clock here. A goal would be icing on the cake if you're RPI to put this one away. And this one's shot into the Clarkson bench. At least you're running off that clock. Clarkson may pull the goaltender to make it 5-on-5, but in that case, you're still having that advantage.
Exactly, and that's really the biggest issue with Harmon's penalty, if you're a Clarkson fan, is that it gives RPI the opportunity, even if they don't score, which they've had problems scoring on their many power plays because the penalty kill has been so good for Clarkson, but they do have a power play tally this afternoon, and at this point in the game with the lead, it's almost just giving them more of an opportunity to possess the puck, and possessing the puck when you've got a lead late is just as good as playing good defense. You're basically giving away opportunities for RPI to possess the puck because they're going to have the numbers.
So we'll have a whistle here. I believe a stoppage for maybe a timeout. We'll see.
Well, there's something is under review. I can't imagine what it was. I mean, it didn't look like RPI was even close to scoring.
No.
I mean, that's all they can review is goals. So
no, they can review a number of things now. There are a number of plays that can be reviewed. One of them being offside, although usually it's when a goal is scored, they'll go back and check that. Where do we think that could have happened?
Well, I'm sneaking a peek on the. I'm sneaking a peek, and they've got the overhead cam over the goal, so they seem to be looking at whether RPI scored a goal. That's the only thing I can imagine. But I
don't remember when it could have happened.
What they're looking at is just an overhead view of
Tiley?
Of Tiley just kind of standing there. Unless they're trying to find the right camera of some type.
Yeah, they can use any camera that's available to them, but they're checking.
You know, I can't even come up with an idea of what.
You hear what the radio is being talked about there?
What would be what they're looking at? I mean, it's just kind of to reset the situation here while we have a delay. 2:10 left in the third period. The Engineers have a 2-1 lead. That's the most important thing. Shots on goal is extremely lopsided, 45-17 in Clarkson's favor. There's a minute and 21 seconds remaining on the penalty to Savannah Harmon, after which, if the Engineers don't score, which would pretty much put a seal on the game, Clarkson would have 50 seconds remaining to find the tying goal at even strength. That's also assuming, of course, that they don't score shorthanded, which is entirely possible. So it's crunch time for the Engineers. They've played great defense all game long. They've put themselves in this situation by executing their game well. They haven't required the puck. The referees are coming out and saying that there's no goal, which is no great shock to us. So deflections, counterattacking, that's how RPI have gotten their 2 goals. Now they've just got to clamp down on defense for the final 2:10.
Here we go, back to action here. Shot off the near glass. Mankey trying to pick it up. Now Tomlinson has it, trying to feed it down low. Good interception by Pausabone. Although the Engineers keep it in. Far side. Schwalbe holding in the circle. She'll play it down low. Pausabone pokes it free to the near side. That'll allow Olivia Howe to pick it up. Played back behind for Pausabone. Under a minute to go in the RPI power play. Minute 44 to go in regulation. The Engineers have a 2-1 lead over the 4th-ranked Clarkson Golden Knights. Now a giveaway by Godin. Centering pass poked free. Schwalbe taps it. Who wants it? Schwalbe now out to center on the carry. Schwalbe doesn't see the defender. Howe back checking. Broke it up nicely. And now a cross-ice feed. Bouncing puck not controlled by Mercer. Shot along far side and now right back up the boards. Picked off by Tomlinson. Shot it into the defender right at the line. Loose in the neutral zone. Schwalbe trying to reach for it. 23 seconds to go in the power play. Still in the goal is Tiley. Now RPI a chance to break it down. 2-on-1. A shot saved by Tiley, who held her ground. Was not phased by Gruschow, who was open for a second in the middle of the ice, but Schwalbe elected to shoot there.
1:03 remaining in the third period. Now 14 seconds on the penalty to Harmon. I just spoke with Jeff Morris, who came over to let us know exactly what they were looking at.
Okay, good.
It wasn't Tiley that they were looking at. It was on the RPI end of the ice. They were looking to see if Solander had let one in.
Oh, wow.
That I also don't remember exactly when that happened, but they took a look and decided that it didn't happen.
Okay.
So he said it was close to 2:40. It was.
So it was a while back.
It had been about 30 seconds before they blew the whistle. So
okay.
Even then, I still don't remember anything that was really that close. But I guess they decided they had to take a look, and they decided there was no goal. So ultimately, it doesn't much matter. RPI has called timeout with 1:03 left. The faceoff is coming up in the Clarkson zone, which is pretty crucial because if the Engineers can win this faceoff, they do still have 14 seconds of power play time left. If they win this faceoff with 1:03 left, the more important thing is that they will have the opportunity to work a little bit more clock, especially down in their attacking zone.
Would like to remind you are listening to live coverage of RPI Hockey, 91.5 FM WRPI Troy. It's the Engineers taking on the 4th-ranked Clarkson Golden Knights here at the Houston Fieldhouse. Perry Lascaris, Tom Reel. 1:03 to go in this game. Clarkson took an early 1-0 lead, added to it, RPI tied it up, and then the Engineers were able to take a lead on the power play here in this third period.
I don't know if I announced pretty sure I did announce the goal, but for the Engineers, the go-ahead goal was scored by Mari Mankey, her 3rd of the year from Jen Godin, and Amanda Kimmerly on the power play at 12:49.
So back to action, 1:03. Now we're exactly 1 minute to go in the third. Clarkson looks to break out of their own end. 10 more seconds of power play time for RPI, but it's the Golden Knights on the attack, looking on the back door, and that was Bannon, who couldn't quite reach the pass from Mercer. Down low now. Off for an extra attacker here out of the box. It's now 6-on-5 for the Golden Knights. Final 43 seconds here. Down low, centering pass, broken up by Gruschow behind the net. It'll be played around to the near side half wall. Against the boards in the corner. Genevieve Bannon tied up by Godin for RPI. Trying to dig it out of their wash. She can't clear. No one knows where it is. Now it's finally picked up into the middle of the ice. A shot coming high and wide. It deflects up into the netting. I believe it hit a shoulder of somebody in front of the net. Could have even been Solander. But we'll have a stoppage here. 18.5 seconds to go.
And RPI maybe a little bit lucky on that timekeeping there. I think I saw it go out of play with about 19.1 left on the clock. Another 0.6 seconds slipping off.
Okay.
So the Golden Knights calling timeout now. 18.5 seconds remaining on the clock. The faceoff is going to be in the RPI zone. They have the extra attacker. But the Engineers doing a great job down the 6-5 play here. Just continuing to play good defense. And really all they had been doing was to keep the puck along, basically along the outside of the playing surface. Just keeping it wherever they can try and tie it up. With 18.5 seconds left, if they can win this faceoff, that might be just enough for them to milk away enough clock to get out of here with the upset victory. And it would be a pretty significant upset. They were unable to score a goal last night against a St. Lawrence team that was routed twice by these Golden Knights earlier in the season. But no matter what happens here in the final 18.5, I think the Engineers have certainly done themselves proud, and I think they've turned more than a few heads over the last couple of weekends.
Career high. It's only in her first season. Lavisa Solander previously was 41. It came against North Dakota back to start the regular season. but 45 stops in this one so far. We have 18.5 to go. Face-off coming near side of the RPI zone. Engineers holding on to a 2-1 lead. Puck loose on the dot, peeled away by the Golden Knights. Center blue line, played back to the near side. They have it there. Back up top, feeding it down low. Clearing effort by Kimberly, trying to get out of the zone. Rooney will get it out to center with 6 to go. Moving up ice. A backhander towards the empty net will go wide, and that will do it. The Engineers knock off the number 4 Clarkson Golden Knights.
Well, it's certainly one of the biggest victories in the history of the program. Put a fine tip on it. I mean, you can go back and see other upsets. You can see bigger wins. Perry and I were in Hamden, Connecticut for a particularly long night. That was certainly one of the most important wins in the history of the program. They've got some signature wins over teams like Harvard, Dartmouth. You know, they've played in an ECAC championship game before.
Yep. But
for you, even at home, defeat the number 4 team in the country, hand them their very first loss in 13 games. It's certainly not what I was expecting coming to the rink. I wasn't coming here expecting them to get blown out, but I certainly wasn't thinking that they were going to have a overly decent shot at picking up 2 points in this game. And what can I say? Lovisa Salander got the job done when she had to. The 45 saves that you mentioned there with 18.5 seconds left, that was all they ended up needed as the Engineers were able to keep the Golden Knights from getting another shot on goal. Those are 2 very big points. And although Clarkson so far this season has given up half of the points that they've had the opportunity to since they tied twice last weekend, those are still points that very few teams this season are going to be picking up. Clarkson's still a very good team. It's not a stretch to say that they were the better team tonight, because they completely dominated possession. They completely dominated the shot totals. But you have to put the puck in the net, and Lovisa Salander made sure that only happened once, and it was on a shot that she, it's not one she wants back necessarily, other than, you always wish you're in the way of the puck and don't let it go in, but it's one that if you're a goaltender, those happen from time to time. And with 45 saves on 46 shots, she had a pretty good night.
Absolutely. And you look back to the power plays, Tom and you and I both thought probably 2 of those were probably undeserving that went against Clarkson this game. But still, the 6 power play chances, that's what you have to do against a solid team like this. You have to take advantage of the opportunities given you. RPI was finally able to do so. And
it's worth mentioning that the Clarkson penalty kill was superb tonight. They had to be, because they kept going to the penalty benches. Them were pretty iffy. Those weren't ones that the Engineers scored on. The biggest one that they took was arguably, the biggest 2 that they took were the checking call that led to the game-winning goal. It was an ill-advised play for her to do, and she might have been lucky that she only got the rough check. I'm not sure if we saw Jamie Grigsby back in the game after she absorbed that check, but it led to the goal by Mari Mankey, and then the roughing call with about, well, not about, it was 2:50 left in the game when Savannah Harmon took a roughing call, basically for just dumping Mankey after the play was over, which top-level teams like Clarkson shouldn't be making mistakes like that, and that was a dumb mistake. It didn't cost them on the scoreboard, but it cost them opportunities to get that game-tying goal, because the Engineers were able to efficiently use that 2 minutes to kill most of the rest of the game because they had more numbers. Clarkson put themselves behind the 8 ball by taking too many penalties, whether they were deserved or not. And the Engineers basically took advantage of it when they had the opportunities to, especially late in the game with Mankey getting the game winner on the power play.
Yeah, you look back at RPI's first win over a ranked team since January 10th of 2014. They beat Quinnipiac 3-2 here at the Houston Fieldhouse. So it's been a little while, a couple of years, but still a huge win for RPI, and a team that's given RPI troubles throughout their the last few years, especially this Clarkson team that's really come on strong, obviously winning a national championship 2 years ago. This is a very, very solid Clarkson program that had really been running over a number of teams they played so far this year. Almost non-contest. Last night against Union, 6-0 they're able to win. But RPI in this building doing a great job of just taking care of business and controlling the play for the most part, not letting things getting away from them. Even though there's a very high shot total, you look at the stats, just say, well, Clarkson dominated. Not a lot of great opportunities, and when they did have them, Solander was able to back them up.
Clarkson dominated, but RPI won this game by staying in their lane. They knew coming in that they weren't going to be outclassing Clarkson. They weren't going to dominate any facet of this game even. They weren't going to be controlling the puck, and they were going to be spending a lot of time on defense. So what did they do? They focused on playing good defense. They got amazing goaltending, and they counterattacked. The counterattack is what won them this game because they were able to take advantage of the few opportunities that they had to take shots. They only ended up with 18 on the game. But when they were moving the puck quickly, they were creating opportunities just by making the puck bounce, by getting deflections. And that's basically how both of their goals came about, deflections or loose pucks. Lindsay Hilwa scoring in the second period, Mari Mankey getting one in the third. They played enough good defense that's all it took. You don't have to dominate or even be the better team to win games, as long as you stay in your lane like the Engineers did today.
Terrific showing for RPI. I'll run down the scoring here. Tom will come up with his offensive and defensive engineers of the game. Scoring started back in the first period. Kaylee Mercer scoring, her 12th of the year, from Olivia Howe and Amanda Titus. That came at 16:30 the first. RPI tying things up on Lindsay Hilwa's first of the season, the second of the collegiate career for the sophomore. Assist to Mari Mankey and Josephine Hansen. And then the eventual game-winning goal came at 12:49 of the third period. A power play goal by senior Mari Mankey. Assist to Jen Godin and Amanda Kimmerly. That was all the Engineers would eventually need. 45 huge saves for Lovisa Solander, a career high for her, of course, in her first season out of Sollentuna, Sweden. She, one of the stars of this game. I'll let Tom come up with his offensive and defensive engineers.
Well, let me just go ahead and get defensive engineer out of the way first, because I've been over here racking my brain, Perry, while you've been going over the scoring, trying to figure out exactly which player was the top defensive player. And believe me, kudos to the entire RPI blue line for being, getting in the way of passes, for just generally being an annoyance for a Clarkson team that I think depends on forwards getting and defensemen getting out of their kind of zone in order to, if they're freaking out while the Clarkson offense stays exactly calm, that in and of itself can help you score goals. But the RPI defense didn't allow them to do that. But it's hard to overlook an overwhelmingly tremendous performance in the RPI net. It was shades of if you've been following this program for some time, you probably remember Sonia Vanderbleek, who's arguably the best goaltender that the RPI women's team has had. And what I saw from Lovisa Solander today reminded me a lot of Vanderbleek and her ability to move laterally, to be where she needed to be, to keep her calm, to be cool and collected in the net. And to do that as a freshman playing in her third ever ECAC game against a ranked opponent and playing Clarkson for the first time is very, very impressive. This is a team that they just got a signature win. They may not have it all together this season to make a solid, serious run. Maybe they do, but they're very young. But it's a very talented team. The freshmen and sophomores especially. And the freshman class led by Lovisa Solander in net has shown an awful lot. Lovisa Solander, my defensive engineer of the game. Offensively, I'm going to go with a senior who has struggled at times during her career to get themselves in a good position. She's been a workhorse since she got here on campus. It's just now starting to click for her, I think, with some teammates that have the opportunity to help her be productive. She's been strong for the Engineers so far this season. She scored her third goal this evening. She also picked up an assist on the other goal, so she was involved with both goals. Really just a hard worker. And as maybe even just a bonus, she helped create a situation for the Engineers late where they would be able to capitalize on having a power play. Mari Mankey, she wasn't the one that basically created the game-winning goal. She only scored it, and Jen Godin had a perfect opportunity that Mankey ended up cashing in on. But just her work ethic and her just stick-to-itiveness over the last 4 years has really brought her to where she is now, where she's centering the top line for the Engineers alongside Katie Rooney and Marissa Raspa. She creates plays, and she's exactly the type of senior leader that the Engineers need going forward. She's got some terrific talent around her. Her classmates Lauren Wash and Alexa Crushaw, they've been the ones that have been the big-time contributors over the course of their time here at RPI. But that senior class is getting an extra boost with some outstanding play by Mari Mankey. She was great all weekend long. She was terrific tonight. And if she can keep it up, it's going to make RPI a very difficult team to beat. And if you don't believe me, you can just ask the Clarkson Golden Knights, because they just found out that this is a difficult team to beat.
Speaking of difficult teams, RPI is on the road next weekend against Dartmouth and Harvard. It doesn't seem like there is an easy weekend in the league. You could point to the Union Series, but that's once again a rivalry series, and the Dutchmen always play the Engineers tough. So where some teams may say, all right, we're going to the Capital Region, and we have a couple of easy wins there. Probably not the case anymore, where RPI has now shown, and we've talked about it, their abilities here tonight or this afternoon in beating Clarkson. It'll open some eyes, I'm sure.
On the other side of the ice, I don't think Clarkson had their best game. Any team that can go on a stretch of 12 games without losing, there can be a little bit of complacency that sets in. I think after the first period, Clarkson didn't quite look as sharp at even strength, but that really can't take away from what Lavisa Slander did, because despite maybe being off a step in the second and third periods, Clarkson still was able to put 46 pucks on her. So they're still very, very good. They're going to be very, very good this season. They really just need to start putting it together in ECAC play, and I'm sure they'll be just fine.
Yeah, it just about does it for here. Exciting finish here. Engineers basically using the recipe that we thought they would need, and not that we predicted anything, of course, Tom, but using the recipe that we thought they would need: a couple goals and outstanding goaltending and timely play, eventually getting that power play goal. That's really the recipe that this team's going to need to follow for success.
Yes, absolutely, and that's how they'll have success for the rest of the season, really, especially against top-level teams, and they're going to need it again next weekend against Harvard and Dartmouth. I want to thank Kyle and Rob back at the station for helping us get out on the air this evening to bring you the Engineers and the Golden Knights. Just a quick reminder before we head out that the RPI men will be taking on the St. Lawrence Saints this evening at Appleton Arena in Canton, New York. That game, unfortunately, will not be heard on WRPI. Our next WRPI sports broadcast will be coming from these very confines this coming Friday. What day is that?
13th?
The 13th, yes. As the men return home for their first full home weekend, if you don't count the short side trip to Schenectady last weekend, the men on Friday will be taking on the Yale Bulldogs, the highly ranked Yale Bulldogs, as a matter of fact.
Another top 10.
The puck drops at 7 p.m. here at the Fieldhouse. The on-air time will be at 6:45, and I believe that'll be you and me, Perry.
I think so.
Understand that correctly?
As far as I'm concerned.
We also would like to remind you that all of this is due to the generosity of the Rensselaer Union, which provides the funding for WRPI and all the club-related activity of the Institute, including WRPI's coverage of RPI hockey, football, and baseball. Just a reminder, WRPI is on the World Wide Web. Point your browser to WRPI.org. And you can pick up WRPI's broadcast 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, as long as WRPI is broadcasting. We provide that broadcast on our internet feed. Once again, that is WRPI.org. So, for Perry Lascaris, I am Tom Reilly. Your final score from Houston Fieldhouse. It is an upset as the RPI Engineers take down the 4th-ranked Clarkson Golden Knights by a score of 2-1.